Today's show is brought to you by Lovable.
Here we go.
Last week, Alexander Bortnik, our guest, grabbed second place in Title Tuesday from the Dave Cave. And I don't know if something is in the air in the Take offices, because Magnus Carlsen, he won Title Tuesday from here inside his streaming room, and he's gonna be back today. The players are ready to battle it out in the Premier League of chess.
Okay, he's gone for this line, looking very, very shaky.
Look at the
Is this a blunder?
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit. The clock is his worst enemy right now.
Did he lose on time?
One wrong move and the whole house falls down.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Take studio and game week 3 of Title Tuesday. Sitting next to me, he's back in the commentator chair, Grandmaster David Howell. It's good to have you back. You've been in Spain, got a nice tan. Did you enjoy your holiday?
I did, Kaya, but I must admit, there was a lot of FOMO. I know exactly what the players experience now when they don't play in Title Tuesday, that fear of missing out. And I was watching the last broadcast last week from the beach, so I can't complain, but it's better to be back here.
And what game week 2, we had so much drama. The big players losing against lower rated players, time trouble, disconnection. It was everything that Title Tuesday should be.
Exactly. It was literally, we couldn't have crafted it, scripted it any better. It was so dramatic up until the last few seconds, the last few moves. I'm hoping for more of the same. Magnus has now set the trend. Bortnik setting the trend as well. He was incredible last week, and I'm hoping that there'll be some surprise stories today.
I agree. Magnus Carlsen, of course, did end up on top last week. We usually have a guest in the studio. Today is going to be David Howell show commentating on the action, the drama. No guest here today, but we've had a guest in the studio earlier today. We were both here when a bird flew in to the Take studio. We were both a little scared when this happened, David.
Exactly. I felt bad for the bird. Still a mystery how it got into the studio.
I know.
But like you said, something definitely in the air, and it all ended well.
It ended well. No worries, you guys. Our great editor, Björn, had set the bird free. It's happily living its life outside in nature in Oslo. And talk about coincidence. Every week, we let the fans vote for one opening that Magnus Carlsen has promised he will play during Title Tuesday. And today, these were the 4 options. And the winner is the Birds opening. Can you believe it?
Exactly. Again, written in the stars, it feels like. Last week, Magnus had to play the Grob opening, which is pretty much the worst first move you can play out of all 20 first moves in chess as white. This week, I think he'll be a lot happier. The Birds opening is actually pretty decent.
Okay.
Just a Dutch defense with reverse colors. So Magnus, he'll be thanking all of you who voted earlier.
Yeah, he actually struggled in that game, especially in the opening. He did eventually win the game when he played the Grob's opening in the first round. But the Birds opening, more solid. We could even see him save it till later in the rounds.
I've seen Magnus play the Bird opening in quite important games before. 1 F4, doesn't spoil anything, controls the center. Yeah, bring it on. That's going to be a fun game to watch.
Why is it called the Birds opening?
It's after Henry Bird.
Okay. So it's not after a bird, but a human bird.
I should have said it was after that bird.
Yeah, exactly.
Today. But no, it's after Henry Bird, a very historic English chess player.
All right. Well, all about birds today, and the players are fighting for one thing, you guys, and that is to fly their way into the Esports World Cup. That is what Title Tuesday is all about this year. The reigning champion in the Esports World Cup is Magnus Carlsen. He is qualified for the tournament next year, but everyone else is fighting for 12 spots in the Esports World Cup. 3 of them will come from the Chess.com Global Championship, 3 from Speed Chess Championship, and then the remaining 6 will be the top 3 players, the top 6 players on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboards. And every single week in Title Tuesday, you score points towards the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. It's all about qualifying for the Esports World Cup, where Magnus Carlsen lifted the trophy only a little over a month ago. It was a huge success with chess on the esports stage, with an increment of 10 plus, with a time control of 10 minutes on the clock, 0 increment. We saw a lot of drama, and that's why we love that in Title Tuesday, the increment is removed. Time control is now 5 plus 0. And we've seen a lot of action from that, David.
We've already seen so much action. Chess players in general are quite resistant to change, but I think everyone's fully embracing this now. It's become the new norm, and yeah, we saw the Esports World Cup as a huge success. The clock was a huge factor, the adrenaline. It just felt like more of a sport in general, and that's what we want to see.
Exactly, and Title Tuesday is definitely a sport now, you guys, because it's all about qualifying for the Esports World Cup. It's now divided into 3 splits. The autumn split, the winter split, and the spring split. Each game week has 13 Title Tuesdays, and you score. The top 10 players every week score points towards the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Today we are heading into game week 3, and these are the Champions Chess Tour standings. After 2 Title Tuesdays, Magnus Carlsen is on top. He is already qualified for the Esports World Cup. He has 13 points, so the 6 players below him right now would be inside the Esports World Cup, but it's a long way. It's not happening until next summer. One player missing on this list, Hikaru Nakamura. He still hasn't scored any points.
Exactly.
Surprising.
2 weeks since we started this cycle now, and 2 weeks into the split, he's still struggling. We saw him lose to an FM last week. Quite uncharacteristic. Normally, Hikaru, he's very efficient against the lower rated players. We saw him lose against Magnus Carlsen, of course, in the final round as well. He's getting close. Hikaru will come back. It's guaranteed he'll win one of these Title Tuesdays, but is it going to be this week? That's the big question.
He still hasn't signed up, you guys. Look at this. 162 players have joined Game Week 3 so far, with 8 minutes to go before it all starts. Alexander Bortnik, who came second last week, has joined. Liam Le is on that list. We're still waiting for players like Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, and, of course, will the players who play the Grand Swiss join? That's the big question. Will they be up in the air traveling? Will they have reached their destinations? Will they be ready to play Title Tuesday? We see a lot of airplanes up in the air here, David. Will Niemann, will Giri, will Gukesh, will Prag, will Alireza Firouzja, will they make it?
Yeah, that's the big question. We want to see them play, of course. Hans Niemann, Anish Giri, and Prag Firouzja, they were all up towards the top of the standings in the Grand Swiss. Gukesh had a week to forget. He wasn't at his best there, but of course, this is the perfect arena to take out that frustration or to just get more chess going. Anish Giri, I actually texted him not long ago, just a bit of congratulations. I think he's landed home, and I'm hoping that means he's ready to play.
Anish Giri, let's hope he makes it to Title Tuesday. He's in form. He won the Grand Swiss, a fantastic tournament, a super tough tournament to win, and Anish Giri came out on top, also qualifying to the candidates. He won his final game against Hans Niemann, and that secured him first place in the Grand Swiss. Huge congratulations to Anish. Second place ended up being a huge fight with several players. Alireza Firouzja was fighting hard for it, but eventually Matthias Blubaum from Germany took that final spot in the candidates, second place in Grand Swiss. That must be a surprise, David.
Yes and no, I would say, Kaya. Yes, it's a surprise because he isn't one of the favorites. He's never really kind of been able to fight with the elite on too many occasions, Blubaum, but he is a 2-time European champion, the only player to have won it more than once, and he's been established for a long time. He's actually a bit of a specialist online in Title Tuesdays, so it's nice to see him finally make that big breakthrough, and not as young as some of the others, so kind of holding it up.
Exactly. Anish Giri, though, was the big winner of the Grand Swiss. Let's hear what he said after his huge tournament victory.
I'm really, really happy, of course. It's been like a fairy tale, I guess, in the end. I mean, it was tough, and I was only one of the people. I was never a favorite at any moment. I was never leading, only sharing the lead with a bad tiebreak. So I was never actually leading. I always had a shot, I guess, but it was never that close. So yeah, it happened out of the blue today. But of course, I've been working towards that, and I've been dreaming about this for so long that to say that, you know, I'm like shocked that this has happened, that would be an overstatement. But yeah, I'm extremely happy about it.
Giri, he's had a little bit of a tough period, and then here he is, maybe playing, I don't know, the chess of his life, 31 years old. Are you surprised to see him win it?
I don't know. Beforehand, I had a feeling about Anish Giri. I actually said multiple times throughout my career, I have a theory about three kind of peaks for chess players, 3 growth spurts. When you're around 18, you suddenly make a big jump, you improve. When you're in your mid-20s, nothing to lose, you're committed to chess, you improve. And sometimes it needs a bit more to get to that final level. And often it is in the early 30s when you're fully mature, you've kind of know where you are in life. That's when the best results come. And Anish, he showed it. That was some of the best chess I've seen from him ever.
Really? Wow. Incredible stuff. But will he play Title Tuesday? Still no Anish Giri on this list. But Hikaru Nakamura has joined. Very happy to see that. He is fighting hard to score his first points in the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Now, last week we did have 2 players here in the Take offices, Magnus Carlsen in his streaming room, and the other player in the Dave Cave was Alexander Bortnik, who came second. Incredible Title Tuesday for him, and these two played each other. This was an incredible game, David.
Yeah, and they were both on 100% before this. They both won all of their games. The clock here is the biggest feature. Look at those clocks down on the bottom right and bottom left sides. This was how Magnus saved it. He's a pawn down on the board. Bortnik with black, big advantage in a classical game, would have won. This could so easily have been the other way around. But here we go, Magnus upping the speed, Bortnik running out of time, just down to 13 seconds. Still enough pawns on the board for Magnus to win. He gives a very important check there with his knight, saves the pawn. And yeah, soon we see Bortnik's clock turn red, the danger zone. Ooh. And this is where he lost complete control of the bar, swinging Kaya, as we saw it happen so many times last week.
Yeah, this was an incredible game to follow. Eventually, Magnus Carlsen was able to win it, and he won Title Tuesday last week. Now, who's going to stream from the offices this week? Magnus Carlsen is one of them, from his room in the Dave Cave. We have Norwegian Grandmaster Johan Sebastian Christiansen, and that's going to be a lot of fun to follow. What chances do you give him in Title Tuesday, David?
Decent chances, I would say. I'm honoured that he steps into the Dave Cave, the latest of the 3. And Johan Sebastian, he's a very strong Grandmaster, very dangerous one. He can beat anyone on his day. The flip side is he's maybe less consistent than some of the other top Grandmasters. He plays very high-risk, high-reward chess. He's well known for kind of going around the world, a bit of a chess, a chess tourist, I would say. He travels South America, North America, Central America, everywhere just to gain some rating points. And he has beaten Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana back-to-back in Title Tuesday in a past week. That was actually earlier this year. So he is capable. But he will need a very good week, I think, to compete with the best. All
right. Well, it's going to be fun to follow Johan Sebastian. Still waiting for Magnus to enter his streaming room. Johan Sebastian Christiansen, also a very fun guy. So do check out his stream on the Take channels. All right. We need to talk about power rankings, David. Every week you choose 3 players that we should especially watch out for. Which 3 have you picked this week?
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise that I've gone for Magnus Carlsen as the first pick. He won last time. He's the guy to catch. He sets the standard. And we're very much looking forward to seeing if he can go back-to-back, win again. And Anish Giri, of course, we're not sure if he's going to play. We'll be waiting up until the last few seconds, potentially. He's had a long, long journey back from Uzbekistan to get home. Let's see if he joins us. That would be fun to watch. And finally, Matthias Blubaum, who plays nearly every week when he's available. Again, he's been traveling. I would love to see him play, though. A candidate for the first time in his life.
Imagine he must be thrilled. A bunch of players joining, logging on from all over the world. Hikaru Nakamura is ready with his stream. I have to admit, I don't know who the guy to Hikaru's left is, but he is ready to play Title Tuesday. Amazing stuff, you guys. This is the Premier League of chess.
He's winning! Wow. He's winning! He found it! Wow.
What a shocking result here. He beats Hikaru Nakamura.
Oh, yeah, he's upset. You can see it.
Oh, that's heartbreak. Will we see one?
Oh, blunder! Bortnik is absolutely in form right now.
Wait, whoa. Has he blundered?
Oh, he definitely blundered. He did not want to get the queens off.
Oh, and Magnus is winning again.
Yep.
What a game. Is Magnus now winning, both on the clock and on the board. Magnus Carlsen also won Title Tuesday Game Week 2. Who will win Game Week 3? That's what we're waiting to find out. The games should kick off any second now. We're waiting for pairings and to see which players are ready to play. Here we have it. Okay, we have the pairings coming up here. Hikaru starts against a player called Midzi for Magnus with the black pieces, Olhovik. Which one should we choose here?
Well, I think we start with Magnus.
Yeah.
He did win last week. He starts with black, so we won't find out if he plays the birds opening yet.
True.
That's an opening when he starts with the white pieces. But yeah, let's see what form, what mood Magnus is in as we start the day.
Yeah, we're jumping into Magnus Carlsen's first round game. Remember, it's best of 11 rounds. The time control is 5 minutes on the clock. No increment. We will see time trouble as always. 11 rounds. Magnus Carlsen scored 10.5 last week. Incredible score. He's going to be fighting for 11 out of 11 today. And he's made his opening move. His opponent, Olhovik. FIDE Master, have you heard about him?
I have seen the name, I must admit. I'm not too familiar with his games, with his chess style, though. And Magnus is already doing some crazy stuff.
Ooh.
Magnus put his pawn on b5 on the first move. That pawn has been hanging for a while. If it were ever taken, then the central pawn would have dropped, though. So Magnus, again, playing weird chess. Knight on the rim, we say, is dim, but not this time. He's definitely trying to freestyle here. Look at him smiling away, Magnus Carlsen. He's in a good fighting mood, as he's currently 2 pawns down, drinking from some kind of vase. What do you make of that?
That is next level. It's the weirdest thing to drink of that I think I've ever seen.
Like, at least a flower vase you can kind of understand.
Yeah.
But what was that? That was like some chemistry test tube kind of enlarged. Okay, we'll call this the test tube version, the test tube variation even of the opening. Magnus is about to win his pawn back in the center. And there we go. It's level material yet again. But Olhovik, an FM here. I'm very impressed by his play. He's going to get castled. He's got a nice attacking position. Magnus has got to be very careful here with the king in the center. We see the bar slide back and forth, slightly favoring white right now. So Magnus needs to up his game, find a way to get to safety if he wants to guide this to victory. How impressed were you last week, Kaya, with Magnus's performance?
I was so impressed, but also he seemed to be in such a great mood throughout. It was fantastic to follow his stream and follow him on the camera. He was in a great mood, and you can see here as well, he keeps talking of course on the stream that you can follow if you prefer his point of view stream. As we also see, Andrei Olhovik has joined us on camera. Big day for him facing the world #1 Magnus Carlsen. And
meanwhile, not too much has changed on this board. It's still level material. Magnus is ready though to castle, which is very good news for him. He's going to hurry and get his king to safety. And the game will become a bit more positional. There we see slightly better for the first time, Magnus Carlsen. And that's because in the center of this board, he has 2 unchallenged pawns, which will be very easy to push later on in the game. White's pawns, meanwhile, on the flank, less easy to push those ones. So Magnus, very, very happy right now with how this game is going. Still level on the clock, though. I've been impressed, though, with Olhovik. Just an FM. But we saw from last week, FMs can be dangerous.
Definitely. How do you think for an FM to join Title Tuesday and then in the first round you're paired with Magnus Carlsen, who to many is just such a legend in the game? Do you get nervous?
I think definitely some nerves, even if you're able to hide it, as Olhovik here seems to be very locked in, very focused. I think most of the FMs I know, most of the kind of lower rated players, they're in it for the honor of playing these top players, for the challenge, for the experience. And here, no matter how this game goes, most likely in Magnus's favor, we see him increasing the advantage now due to White's doubled pawns, open king. But yeah, no matter how it goes, it's going to be one he can tell his friends about, right?
Exactly.
You can always boast, he played Magnus Carlsen in Title Tuesday.
Yeah, we did see the bar move up for Magnus when Olhovik moved his white queen out. Was that a bad move?
Yeah, the white queen not well placed, but mainly because black's bishop in the center was able to take a knight. So a fair trade, and this white pawn structure around the king is just so ugly. I'm expecting the white king to get attacked in the near future. And here we go, Magnus pushing in the center. He wants to get his knight in. A knight in the middle of the board could start jumping towards the white king very, very quickly. So this is not good news for white. Clock ticking down. We see a bishop trade. Getting rid of the bishop pair. That's a good tip for everyone at home. Trade off your bishops. Anish Giri built his success at the Grand Swiss on the bishops, beating Hans Niemann in the final round with the bishop pair. Now Magnus is going to start sneaking in with his queen. Oh dear, I smell trouble. The black queen coming near the white king now. The black knight has also got a path forward. This is not good news for white. There we go. Magnus does bring his knight closer. Queen and knight, the most deadly combo in chess. And Kaya, I have a bad feeling the white queen is so far offside. She would be giving away a foul in football right now. She's that offside.
In trouble, Mr. Olhovik. 2 minutes left on his clock. No increment. Hikaru Nakamura has won his round 1 game. After only a few minutes, 25 moves. He won with the white pieces. Good start for Hikaru. And meanwhile, I do notice that Anish Giri has not made it home in time to join, but Vincent Keimer is playing in Title Tuesday today, so maybe he has made it back to Germany after playing Grand Swiss. Heartbreak for him. In just the final few moves, basically, he was not able to win his game and he was not able to qualify for candidates. He has won first round here, though, in Title Tuesday today.
Some cool pairings. Alexei Serrano, who won the first week, is up against our good friend Simon Williams.
Ooh.
And, in the meantime, Magnus is threatening a checkmate. This pawn is under fire from the queen, defended by its rook. Earlier, there were some tactics along the 4th rank, so black's rook was actually untouchable. The white queen now defending this pawn. So Magnus still needs a way in. The computer says he's massively better. He pushes his pawn forward. He's aiming to, sorry, my arrow there. He's aiming to push this pawn forward and block the white queen's diagonal, the protection. As she drops back, she's going to have to sit the whole way home. Magnus has kicked her back to the 1st rank. Olhovik now on his last legs. The black rook is switching focus, switching angle. This is going to be a check, and this might just spell the end. It's going to be checkmate within a few moves. Magnus Carlsen is going to take the win.
Will we see the checkmate?
I think so. If not resignation now, Olhovik looks ice cold on the camera. He's frozen, but he's not going to be making any waves in this game. The black rook can even come to support its queen to take a pawn. If not checkmate, then we'll see a resignation here and now. Nothing to do. No way to defend. White needs a knight. Lacking any guardians of the white king there.
Super smooth start for Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, super smooth. He can do anything now. He can take this pawn. There we go. He's coming in with a check on the 1st rank. That is unstoppable. And we will see this game end on this move. Magnus and Hikaru keeping up the pace.
Yeah. Last week we did see a battle between Magnus and Hikaru, which Magnus eventually won. Hikaru is hungry for revenge. Still no points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard for Hikaru. He needs to become top 10 to score points towards that Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Magnus Carlsen is on top. He has 13 points after 2 game weeks. And here we have it. It's a win in round 1 for Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces. Super smooth start for the reigning Title Tuesday winner. He takes 1st place together with a bunch of players. We see Vincent Keimer has also won his game. Few games still happening. Magzodlo is playing. He also, of course, participated in the Grand Swiss. Bortnik is right now fighting with the black pieces. Duda seems to be winning. He was also in... no, he wasn't playing in the Grand Swiss, as far as I remember.
Duda wasn't there.
No. Why wasn't he there?
I'm not sure. It's a pity because he's so good at these types of tournaments. He can win a lot of games consecutively if he's on form. But he has talked about his motivations for chess. He's been a very busy guy. He's played lots of Grand Chess Tour tournaments as well. So we'll see Duda at some point. Maybe he'll play the World Cup. Maybe he'll win that as he did back in 2021. But yeah, it's a pity. It's such a tough field these days, as we see here in Title Tuesday, but in the Grand Swiss as well, in the World Cup. No weak players. And some of the top guys, they just choose to skip it these days to preserve energy. It's a pity, though.
Yeah. What we know right now in terms of qualification for candidates. So To anyone who doesn't know, Candidates Tournament is the tournament to decide which player qualifies to face Gukesh in the next World Championship match. 8 spots in the candidates. Right now we have, of course, Anish Giri, Matthias Bluebaum from the Grand Swiss. We have Fabiano Caruana, who won the FIDE circuit 2024. It looks like Pragnananda will win the FIDE circuit 2025. Would be very surprising if that doesn't happen.
He's got a big lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did okay at the Grand Swiss as well, especially now that the top guys in the Grand Swiss, they go through automatically. Prag's the big favorite.
Yeah. And then Hikaru Nakamura is very likely to grab the rating spot. He needs to play 10 more classical games, but it seems like he's determined to do that. And then 3 spots left up for grabs, and those will all be decided in the World Cup coming up in November. So that's going to be exciting for many players. Meanwhile, round 1 is wrapping up. No huge surprises here as far as I can see down the list. Solid start for all the top players.
Yeah, the one I would say it's around the middle of the scoreboard. It's just there.
Yeah.
Min Lei losing with white against
look at
Diacek. Min Lei is actually a very kind of famously quick player. One of Vietnam's strongest grandmasters. Not one of the world's elite, but a big blitz name. Dropping the first round there.
And good to see Simon Williams, our friend Ginger GM, up on the list, but a loss for him in the first round. Super tough first round, though, against Sarana. All right, round 2 is about to start. Hikaru is up against Suleidis. And again, apologies for the pronunciation. Magnus with the white pieces against Kuznetsov.
I like it.
You think
Kuznetsov, let's call him that.
Which game do you prefer to follow here, David?
Oh, wow. There's some really interesting battles here before we jump in. Just to mention, Georgios Sulaidis is a very well-known streamer from Germany, despite the Greek name. He calls himself the Big Greek. So he's one we could follow against Hikaru Nakamura. Magnus Carlsen against Felix Kuznetsov. Will he play the bird opening? I think that's the big question with Magnus, as that game doesn't look to have started yet. Okay, it looks like Magnus, I'm just waiting. Once he plays his first move, we'll decide whether to jump there or not.
I like it. But we're waiting to see Magnus. So the fans have been able to, again, vote for an opening that Magnus Carlsen has to play in one of the games throughout today's Title Tuesday. They voted for the Birds opening, and will he play it now with the white pieces for the first time today?
It's not the Birds opening, so we won't go there yet. We'll go to Magnus another round.
Yep.
Let's go to Hikaru Nakamura
100%.
As he faces the Big Greek. There we go.
There we go.
That is indeed his real hair. And okay, interesting. This came from the Caro-Kann defense. We're only a few moves in. We see Hikaru streaming meanwhile. We'll watch out for his facial expressions if they change. But Georgios Sulaidis, I will mention, very solid, very big name in the German chess scene. I believe he lives in Hamburg, one of the kind of chess homes of Germany. And I quite like white's position. Doubled pawns, a bit of a weakness, but you can't take this one yet because the white queen indirectly defends. The white bishop would be able to jump out the way with a check, and the white queen would be able to sweep. So black should not jump in for this poison pawn. And yeah, this decent position. 2 bishops, we mentioned it earlier. Looking good for white right now. Bit of an advantage for the Big Greek.
Wow, after only a few moves. He's playing some good chess. You did mention German. I do see a Greek flag, though.
Maybe he is... I know he lives in Germany. I'm not sure which country he represents. It must be Greece in that case. Every time I've spoken to him, it's always in German. And I know he's been living in Germany for a few years. So maybe the Greek heritage, Greek flag, but living in Hamburg for over 10 years now, I believe.
53 years old, one of the older players probably in Title Tuesday. Yeah. Nice to see.
Nice to see. And he's got some big upsets. I've seen him beat Levi Rosman live on stream. I've seen him beat some others. He streams a lot. So a name to watch out for. Hopefully we can see him very shortly. Hikaru, in the meantime, not liking his position. We see him shaking his head a lot on his stream. That's because black is really cramped. White's got a beautiful pawn center. White's backing them up with the beautiful bishops. And there we go, the Big Greek. What a clean, kind of crisp picture that is. You can tell he's a streamer.
Keep calm and play chess. Exactly. And he's got a poster of Beth Harmon in the background, all about chess. And he's playing some good chess right now, even if the bar jumps down with this latest move.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this latest move because the black knight gets a nice square in the center. You want to keep it kind of fluid. If you've got the bishops, you don't want to block things up. I would not be allowing this knight to capture a bishop right now. If I were white, I would be dropping my bishop back. I think Hikaru is going to be very happy. He's drawing lots of arrows on his stream. He's doing some calculation. He wants to line up the black bishop against white central pawns potentially. Key moment. Sulaidius needs to keep up on the clock, and Hikaru frowns. I frown too because I don't like the idea of parting with the bishop pair. I think now the position is going to be relatively level, and this is where Hikaru thrives. But in the meantime, I'm being told some breaking news. Magnus Carlsen tried to play the birds opening in this round, but he mouse slipped. He didn't play 1f4, Magnus Carlsen. He played 1f3, which is even worse.
Oh no!
So Magnus, he's going to have to fight back from a position of dubious quality. And we'll check in maybe on that game a bit later. But Magnus, he still has to play the bird. He still has to fulfill his promise to our fans.
So he mouse slipped the first move.
Yep, better to mouse slip kind of move 1 than move 40 maybe, but still not a good sign for Magnus.
Oh no, all right, mouse slip. It's definitely a word in Title Tuesday. We do see them every single Tuesday. No mouse slip here though. He's still a little bit better according to the eval bar.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'm just looking over at other games. Jan Gustafsson's making an appearance on the top few boards. So nice to see Germany represented there.
Oh, yeah.
And a very famous commentator in his own right, Jan Gustafsson. Parham Maghsoodloo is playing one of the UK's top talents, Scottish youngster. One of England's top talents, 12-year-old, is playing Javokir Sindarov further down. So many big names entering this tournament. In the meantime, this game, look at Hikaru, in trouble again. What is he doing? His last move has allowed white a huge passed pawn. It might not promote immediately because the black rook will swoop. It will swing across and cover. But this is going to be a real thorn in in black's side for the rest of the game. Now Sulaidius, he should be pushing his pawns forward, going for it. And white has a beautiful position, but 1 minute down on the clock. There we go. He plays the move I suggested there, forcing Hikaru to maybe take this bishop. Kaya, could Hikaru be going down yet again in an early round?
What is up with Hikaru Nakamura? He has historically been an amazing Title Tuesday player, the one who's won it by far the most times. But with this new format, since Split 1, the autumn split started, he hasn't been top 10 in either of those two game weeks, and he's going to fight to do that in game week 3, but already struggling. And against an IM as well. Definitely not an easy opponent to fight back against.
That's right. It's going to be very, very tricky here. I think there's some reason for optimism for Hikaru, mainly because of the clock situation. He's 40 seconds ahead. He's relatively solid, not got too many weaknesses, but white's powerful bishops here. The A pawn, I hesitate to say that's a game winner, but it has the potential, that is for sure. And Hikaru is going to be very much reliant on a bit of a scramble, hustling the opponent. Being told Magnus Carlsen did win very quickly, despite mouse slipping on move 1.
Wow.
Magnus doing Magnus things. I'm slightly gutted I chose Hikaru now. It would have been fun to see Magnus play that 1f3 and live to fight on, but here we go. Ooh, Hikaru's opponent taking some big risk now, giving up this A-pawn. He's going for the black king instead, trying to trade off the bishops. 1 minute against 2, though. Look at Sulaidius. He's reacting like a real streamer. He's angry at himself for playing so slowly, but talking his way through the position. Good tips for everyone at home. When in doubt, talk to yourself. Try to understand what you should be doing, what you need, how happy you are. That can help your decisions to trade or not to trade. That is Hikaru's decision right now.
Hikaru is in trouble, ticked under 2 minutes on the clock, but almost only 1 minute left for Sulaidius.
Ooh,
Oh.
Hikaru, what is he doing? He's taking so much risk here. Look at this. He's parting with his bishops. Maybe trading off the rooks was actually better because the black queen would then have been offside. But look at the white queen. She's so close now. No real checkmating threats, but massively better for white. How to press the advantage. Moves that come to my mind would be to swing the white rook, to go for the black king on this open file. He gives a check instead. Maybe pushing Harry the h-pawn would have been another way to destabilize the black knight. Sulaidius is trying to get out of this, though. He's traded queens, parting with all of his advantage. This is now a drawn endgame. It's almost a dead draw on the board, but the clock is such a big issue. Sulaidius, I think that was lack of experience there. fear maybe of playing Hikaru Nakamura. He tried to draw this game when he should have been trying to win it.
And 30 seconds left on the clock. Do you think Hikaru will even win it now?
Yes, Hikaru is a big favorite suddenly. The Black Knight is going to post itself on a beautiful outpost, can't be challenged, and then this game could easily go on 100 more moves. Hikaru has full stability. Wow, Sulaidis blunders his rook for a knight. Hikaru now is up. Look at the reaction from Sulaidis. So angry. That was a blunder. He'd pre-moved, and now he's doomed. 20 seconds. He's got no chance now of saving this.
Oh, no. He was much better against Hikaru Nakamura, but eventually the speed demon Hikaru Nakamura takes it. 2 in a row for Hikaru. He wins with the black pieces, striking back after a bad start to this game. He's able to win it. And look at the disappointment from Georgios Sulaidis. So close to beating one of the big guys.
Yeah, he played so well. 95% of that game, he was on top. But ultimately, trading queens is a mistake, especially when low on time against these top guys. Magnus, Hikaru, you can't play endgames against them. And yeah, he lived to pay the price there. It was all about the clock handling.
Yeah.
And slightly too slow, but well played.
So we do see Hikaru Nakamura then with 2 out of 2. Still a bunch of player has that. Remember, it's best out of 11 rounds. We're rounding up. Round 2, still some games happening. Lazovic seems to be in trouble in his game against Arav.
Yeah, Lazovic is in trouble. He's about to lose his game. We can jump in there, or we can jump in with Vincent Keimer, who's about to lose his game too. But look at Denis Lazovic, one of the favorites, Speed Demon. He's behind in the race. Look at the white pawns. They're just slightly closer. He promotes with a check. 1 move before the black pawn's about to queen. Just in time, and Arav wins against Lazovic.
Wow, all right. Huge win for International Master Arav, taking down Lazovic, who is one of the favorites every single week in Title Tuesday. Magzudlo seems to be in a good place in his round 2 game. You mentioned Keimer. Okay, eventually a win for Keimer. That turned around.
Keimer flagged his opponent in a dead lost position. A bishop and a pawn down is the time scramble phase, and these things happen. Keimer taking the win. Some consolation maybe for missing out in the Grand Swiss. But Magzudlo getting the job done, it looks like, on his board. He's got an extra queen and knight and pawn. It's all about the clock. Not too many surprises, Kaya. I would say Denis Lazovic, the biggest seed to fall there.
Yeah. A bunch of the top players, though, they do have their 2 out of 2. Magnus Carlsen should be up there, but all about tiebreak. So he's on the 2 out of 2 list, same as Hikaru Nakamura. Actually, same as Johan Sebastian Christiansen, who's also won his first 2 games. Remember last week, our 2 streamers here in the Take offices came first and second. And Johan Sebastian, he's got some big shoes to fill after Bortnik played fantastic in the Dave Cave. But he's capable. 2 out of 2 so far for Grandmaster Johan Sebastian. Magnus Carlsen is playing fast today, winning 2 games in very quick fashion.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by Magnus's play. His time handling, being a bit late, taking a few seconds at the beginning, those mouse slips, that's questionable. But Magnus actually plays someone he beat last week in Title Tuesday, Matvey Galchenko on board too.
Yeah. Magnus with the black pieces, Hikaru here with the white pieces. Ooh, what's your feeling? Which game do you want to follow, David?
I'm a bit inclined. I know we followed Hikaru last time. I kind of want to see Magnus's next game with white.
Yeah.
So maybe we save Magnus for next.
Let's do
but
that.
Hikaru is playing a young prodigy from the US. Someone I lost to online recently. I believe he's very, very young, in his early teens. So this could be a very interesting game to watch.
An American battle here. Hikaru did struggle in the beginning of the previous game. Let's see if he can play some great chess here in round 3 with the white pieces playing super fast.
That's right. And look at this. It looks like an opening battle. This came from the King's Indian defense. And here, Hikaru has my favorite pawn structure, Connect 4. Beautiful pawn chain. That doesn't mean you win automatically, unfortunately. And in the meantime, Ryo Chen looks like he's fighting hard. The Black Knight is about to come into the center. Black has control over all the dart squares, the Black Bishop as well. Beautiful piece. This could go any direction. Hikaru is not going to be happy with the outcome here either. I've got confirmation Ryo Chen is 15 years old. And look at this, much better, massively better against Hikaru.
Whoa.
Hikaru's struggling yet again. What's happening? It just feels like he's in trouble every game. Something off with his openings, maybe, Hikaru. He's down on the clock this time too. And we see on his stream there, he's actually calculating sacrificing a pawn. It's that drastic right now just to create a square for the white knight to jump into, because otherwise this black queen is creating a horrible pin. Hikaru in huge, huge trouble here.
What is up with Hikaru Nakamura? In trouble once again, this time with the white pieces. He's an expert at fighting back though and playing on the clock. Let's see if he can do that again.
But Hikaru is frozen. His position's so bad that he's now spent about a minute just before sacrificing his pawn. As he was showing on his stream, he just desperately wants to get one of his knights into the center, maybe to look at the black king later, but mainly to kick away this annoying queen. But he's self-pinning here. This black bishop was attacking the white queen. It's blocked. We see a trio of pawns in the center, but one of them will drop. And Hikaru, I think he's going to be hating his position. We see him. He's not as energetic or happy as we normally see him on his stream. He's normally bouncing up and down.
Yeah. What is the big issue in his white position?
Yeah, it's all about the dart squares. I'm expecting black here. Ooh, he actually jumps in with the knight. I was going to say to take this pawn with the bishop. That bishop could never, ever be challenged. It's going to control half the board. Now the other knight's actually going to come to a dart square and will be supported by his bishop. Black will have a dart squared bind. And it's actually mainly about the discomfort of this pin on the white knight. The white knight can never move because it's being stared down by the black queen. The white king is going to be in danger wherever it stands. And Hikaru sacrificing a rook for a knight now. This is just a pure gamble.
Wow.
This is not what he wants to be doing. He just felt it was so hopeless if he let that knight survive. But now this pawn in the center is dropping. He's banking on these double D pawns to step forward and make a new queen. But look at this. Hikaru's 2 rooks down. He's got 1 bishop in return. He's looking away in disgust. He's, okay, now got a bishop and knight in return for those 2 rooks. But mathematically, this is almost over.
Whoa, Ryo Chen, the 15-year-old, is massively better against Hikaru Nakamura. Both from the US, Hikaru must be a big idol to Ryo Chen. And here he is massively better. With less than 3 minutes on the clock, though, can he make it all the way to get that full point to win against Hikaru? Trouble for the big champion.
Yeah, and there's so many players in the Grand Swiss from the US, youngsters, teenagers, Abhimanyu Mishra and Andy Woodward, who came top 10.
Yeah.
And the other US youngsters now, the teenagers, must be looking at that, taking inspiration. It's no longer just about Hikaru, about Wesley So, about Aronian. The American teenagers are coming to take over, and Hikaru in big, big trouble now. Black can do multiple things here. He's going to try and take this bishop off the board, remove that very strong piece. Just for 1 rook. Maybe he'll come back now with a check, correct the mistake. But Hikaru, it's the clock again. That's his only hope in this game to save it.
But that is still a hope.
It is a hope.
Oh.
3 minutes, just under 3 minutes against 2. Ryo Chen here now threatening the black bishop coming out to give a check. That would win the white bishop next to the king. Oof. The more I think about it, the more I think this is just hopeless. Hikaru yet again shaking his head. The black rook moves away. There we see Ryo Chen.
Oh, nice.
So focused.
Look at that. Focus mode for Ryo Chen. Close to beating Hikaru Nakamura. And there it is. Wow. Huge result in round 3. 15-year-old Ryo Chen beats Hikaru Nakamura. What do you think about that reaction, David? Look at that.
Wow. He's up and down. He's out of his chair. He's off to tell mum and dad that he's just beaten the world number 2. Hikaru resigning because he was actually about to get checkmated or about to lose his queen in that final position. That was disastrous from Hikaru, but full congratulations to Ryo Chen.
I love to see the celebration from the teenager. Massive joy for him. Congratulations to him. That's a huge result for a youngster against the 2nd best player in the world. Maybe the best title Tuesday player of all time, Hikaru Nakamura, struggling, losing in round 3. He now has to fight back to have a chance to score points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Drama for Hikaru Nakamura again. What is up? If there's one thing you can pinpoint in Hikaru's play that he is suddenly struggling with, is it even the shift of the time format now with 0 increment?
Yeah, I mean, Hikaru in an interview, he said that would favor him because he's so quick on the mouse. He's so used to flagging opponents. When Hikaru streams, he always plays 3+0. So he should be used to this. It just feels like a lack of energy. Like he's been very busy. He's been playing a lot in the US. He's been playing tournaments, flying around, getting those rating points. Maybe he's just a bit tired, Hikaru, but very uncharacteristic from him. We've never seen Hikaru just play this type of chess with such low energy.
Well, let's hope Hikaru strikes back. We're jumping into another game here in round 3. Magnus Carlsen has the black pieces against Galchenko, and I am a strong chess player, and he might be losing, though, to Magnus with only 1 minute left on his clock as well.
Yeah, Magnus now threatening a nasty checkmate. That's going to force the white queen to jump back and defend. There we go. The white queen now really passive. It might take Magnus a while, but he's trying to come in. Rook takes bishop now would be a huge trap to avoid, because the black queen comes down to the bottom rank, and that's going to be a back rank checkmate against the white king. So the white rook will be forced to try and trade off. Magnus, he's not any material up yet, but there we go. The first pawn drops, and it's just a problem of the white king being caught in a mating net for eternity. The opposite color bishops will not save white. The black bishop will actually guard its king perfectly. And Magnus bobbing his head there, looking very confident. Last week, he won because of his clock handling. He was so quick. We saw him flag Alexander Bortnik. And Magnus, again, super speedy. He's moving in for the checkmate. He's very close to delivering the kiss of death mate now. The white king is trapped. We'll see the white queen throw herself in the way after this check. She'll try and block. But Galchenko, he's only surviving by the skin of his teeth. Magnus moving in for different pawns now. It's all about the H-pawn, which is going to start pushing. Magnus Carlsen very close to going 1 full point ahead of Hikaru Nakamura, moving to 100%, 3 out of 3. And only a miracle can really save white now. It's not totally lost, but the clock, 15 seconds, makes it worse. Oof, it's tough times. And the white king sticking its head out is never a good idea in blitz chess. You get checked. You get mated often, and look at this, the white bishop and queen desperately trying to block the diagonal. Magnus, though, he can do anything. He can start checking. He's got 1 extra minute over his opponent. The red clock there, 7 seconds for white. He's going to lose on time. It's as simple as that. No chance for Galchenko on the clock.
7 seconds, that's when your heart is racing, but he's also lost on the board. Magnus, super chill. Playing some really good chess here so far. This is round 3. Remember, best out of 11 rounds. 5+0 on the clock.
And white's down to just a couple of seconds. It's a few checks now. One of white's pawns drops.
Oh.
White's about to lose on time. He's desperately trying to make moves. It's all about the pre-moves. A final check. Magnus is going to block that with his queen. Magnus just needs to make 1 more move. The clock is going to fall. Magnus is going to win. There we go. The white queen drops as well. Game over.
Game over. Magnus was winning on the board, but eventually he wins actually on the clock in this game against Galchenko. And that's 3 out of 3 for Magnus Carlsen, the world #1. Super solid so far today. No big smile on his face. Do you think he's critical of his play in the end here?
He's usually critical.
Yeah.
The only time Magnus doesn't criticize himself is when it's the final round and he wins. Then he forgets all the bad moves and he just remembers the tournament victory. In the meantime, no real surprises other than Hikaru Nakamura losing with white. Sindarov losing with white, maybe the other big surprise there. But yeah, Magnus, Hikaru, that rivalry we talked about as we see the glass, the water glass there. Yeah, it looks like we might not get a rematch between them if Hikaru can't up his game.
Hikaru, he did lose in an earlier round in the previous Title Tuesday as well. He was able to fight his way back, to fight in the top before eventually ending up outside top 10. But Hikaru Nakamura, pressure's on. He needs to win his next games to fight for the victory here today. We do see still more than 20 players on 3 out of 3 as we're heading into round 4 in any second. There we have it. Magnus up against Shanglai, Magzudlu, Shimanov. I guess Magnus is the one to follow with the white pieces. Will we see the birds opening that you guys have voted for him to play today?
Yeah, I did promise it. So let's start with Magnus Carlsen and see what opening he chooses. But the opposition is getting tougher now, Kaya. He's up against his first GM of the day. Lu Shanglei is a very strong Chinese grandmaster. He played in the Grand Swiss. So he's been traveling, most likely from Uzbekistan. And Magnus did play the birds opening, I can confirm. His pawn's just landed on e4. He's trying to transpose to a Sicilian, so he's trying to get out of the birds opening as quickly as possible. But for those of you at home, he did start with his f-pawn on move 1, followed by the knight, followed by the e-pawn. So Magnus, he's a man of his word.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone who voted for that opening in the Take Instagram. We'll do it again next week and every single week for Title Tuesday. You guys can join in and vote for one opening that Magnus will play. Today it was the Birds opening, which was a fun coincidence because we had a bird flying into the studio earlier today, creating some chaos. It's now free, and Magnus is free and safe and good after playing the Birds opening in this game.
Exactly. This is actually transposed to a quite well-known variation of the Sicilian, of the close Sicilian. It's not got the best reputation necessarily for white, but it's chosen by those who just want to get out of the opening with no fuss, and it becomes a real battle. Magnus now, it depends on his mood, but we see the bar suddenly shift in his favor, and I have a feeling it's because he can start attacking before the Black King is able to escape the center. Lu Shanglei, is he still in his hotel room in Uzbekistan after the Grand Swiss?
Oh, maybe.
Looks likely. Looks like a hotel room either way. And Magnus, though, making moves. That knight is hitting the Black Queen now. And big pressure. The Birds opening looking like a stroke of genius now for white.
Lu Shanglei, a 30-year-old from China, up against Magnus here. One of the great players from China. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, many strong players. Ding Liren, of course, former world champion. There's Wei Yi, there's Yu Yangyi, who did very well in the Grand Swiss. Lu Shanglei, he was okay out there in the Grand Swiss. I think he finished around 50%, so in the middle of the pack. But he famously played 27 classical games in 19 days recently, unbeaten in 3 tournaments, 3 open tournaments. So he's a very strong player, hard to beat. But now he is very much struggling against Magnus Carlsen, because look at the dart squares. They're like that type of cheese with all the holes in it. And Magnus is ready to jump into those dart squares with his pieces, invading the black camp. Looking very good for white. But Magnus may be missing this last move, attacking the white knight. That knight is needed as a defender of the central pawn here. So Lu Shanglei suddenly adjusting his camera. Bit of a smile, looking a bit happier. The last move has gone in his favor. Magnus, will we see a shake of the head? Looking very confident right now, though, as he drops his bishop in. He's going for checkmate, Magnus Carlsen.
Wow.
If he can somehow get his rooks involved, I was going to say the other rook, but this one's even better, lift them towards the Black King. There's one avenue of attack. He wants to bring his rook across, trade off the defender, the bishop, and then swing his queen in and deliver a very well-known checkmate. But he's a pawn down, Magnus Carlsen, so this has to work, or he will be in trouble.
What about Magnus's play, and which moves make you say that you can see his ambition already is checkmate?
Yeah, I think it's the last 2 moves. He gave up a pawn. He allowed his beautiful knight to be traded off on this square. The Black Queen later captured a pawn. The first ambitious move was this one, Magnus. This is very well known. The Black Bishop is fee encurtoed. That means it's on the longest diagonal, so exchanging it often means the opponent's king is a bit weak. It's the best defender. And the second ambitious move, rook lifts, rook swings, whatever you call them, they're always ambitious, especially a rook swinging from the queen side to the king side, all the way across the board in one move is very scary for the opponent. And not many defenders around the Black King. Lu Shanglei does look a bit scared suddenly.
Yeah.
Ooh, pushing a pawn though in front of the king is never recommended. And there we go, the bar shifts even further in Magnus's favor.
Then why does he do it? Is it about creating that lift for the king?
Yeah, he wants to block this white rook, but there's actually a big threat to sacrifice this pawn, this rook now for this pawn, so the white queen can later come in. And again, kiss of death checkmate keeps popping up, the most common type, a queen supported by a bishop or a pawn. And this one looks terminal now. I think Lu Shanglei panicked, self-destructed, and look at this. The bar swings the whole way across. Magnus is going to smell blood. Is it a bishop exchange first? Is it a rook sacrifice? Magnus has got checkmate on his mind. He can even throw his own pawn forward and try to break the blockade. Magnus leaning back. That is always a sign that he senses something. His spidey senses tingling. And 1 extra minute. Again, so impressive on the clock. Magnus's opponent shakes his head. And rook sacrifice from Magnus Carlsen. He trades off the bishop as well. The queen is now about to come in, followed by the rook. Ooh, the rook taken. The Black Queen sacrificing herself is now queen against 2 rooks. But white is getting all the pawns in the process.
Look at Magnus Carlsen sacrificing, playing some really nice chess, and he's playing so fast.
Yeah, so fast, so smooth, very impressive. I've got to say from both players, Magnus to spot that rook sacrifice, Lu Shanglei to realize he had to give up his queen just to stay in this game. Queen versus 2 rooks can be a close battle, but not when there are so many white pawns on this board. White has 2 pawns and a queen just for 2 rooks. Magnus himself has said on camera that he thinks a queen is not worth 9, which we normally say. A queen is worth 10. So if Magnus maths is correct, then a queen plus 2 is 12, and 2 rooks are 10. Magnus is up 2 points.
They keep playing massively better for Magnus Carlsen, but massively better also on the clock. Liu Shanglei is struggling against Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, shake of the head. The pawns are coming though, and another check. This might end the game. The black king now has to move away. It cannot step back because the rook in the corner would drop, and Magnus Carlsen wins on the brink of taking another pawn. He moves to 4 out of 4 as we head to the first break.
Wow. Magnus Carlsen, he's on 4 out of 4. Yeah, look at that. Playing fantastic chess today. It's going to start getting worse and worse, though, because after the first technical break, that's when the huge matchup starts coming in. A big win for Magnus Carlsen here with the white pieces playing the bird's opening, but that was no issue for him. And look at that, Ryo Chen after that amazing win against Hikaru Nakamura, celebrating like crazy. He lost here in round 4 against the super strong Sarana. No easy opponent there for him. Meanwhile, a bunch of games still happening. Should we jump into Hikaru to see if he's able to make a comeback? Oh, he's already won his game.
Yep. It's
a comeback for Hikaru Nakamura. He wins in round 4, so still hope for the American to win Title Tuesday Game Week 3.
Kaya, I'm going to take us to Johann Sebastian Christiansen,
I love it.
Who's been doing very well so far. And look at this, he's massively better. The bar says he's totally winning against Dmitry Andreikin, one of the best players in the world, one of Russia's top grandmasters who's played in the candidates before. Johann Sebastian brings his queen across. Ooh, not quite finding the right way forward. I believe he could have been bringing his knight into the center and then just throwing his pawn down the board. This pawn is a potential game winner there, promoting just 3 squares away. Still looking very good for black, though, because the king is so safe. So many pawns around it. White's king, meanwhile, very, very open. He's on the brink of a big surprise, but down on time, Kaya. He needs to move fast.
Oh, the bar keeps swinging. Look at the clock, though, for Johann Sebastian Christiansen. Can he win this game? Is it now back to balance? Has he blundered?
He has made a mistake. He's allowed the black king now to be vulnerable. That was a brilliant bishop sacrifice by Andreikin. And now there's all sorts of ideas. There's a rook check at the top of the board to try and break the blockade, remove the defender. You can even give checks with your queen. And there we go. Johann Sebastian sacrificing his rook. And now he's reliant on giving some checks. He has to continue the checks forever, otherwise he's going to lose this game. Is this position a draw, though? Can the white king escape? That is the big question. 20 seconds. He's going to try and use the queen to now blockade. This is looking very difficult for Johann Sebastian suddenly.
Ooh. And that clock is going to tick down to red very, very soon. Oh.
Yeah, this is the problem. The white queen is going to act as the bodyguard. It's going to defend the king. The checks have dried up. White just needs one more move. You need to move the rook out the way and anywhere even, and make a new queen with the b-pawn. And Andreikin, though, needs to find a safe square for his queen. He's up so much on time. The clock is going to decide this one. And Andreikin, one of the coolest, calmest customers out there. Fair Play on YouTube is his streamer name. And he's all about positional chess usually. But what to do now? His queen is attacked. He needs something a bit special. Wherever you move the queen, there are checks in the air. The black queen is going to drop back with the check, maybe even take this rook. So on the board, this is turning. He gives up his rook. He's going to try and make a new queen now. He's got to move his queen away first somewhere. And look at this, the b-pawn about to promote. Johann Sebastian's down to 11 seconds, though. 10, 9. Oh, the black queen is stuck. It's going to end poorly here for Johann Sebastian. And another queen's going to enter this board. 2 queens incoming. And here we go. The black queen traded off now. That will spell the end of this game. It's going to be a timeout, resignation by Johann Sebastian Christiansen. So close, but not close enough.
It's a win for Andreikin with the white pieces. Johann Sebastian, it looked so good for the Norwegian, but the clock was his main rival here, eventually losing the game on the board on the clock. Does not look happy in the Dave Cave, but let's hope the vibe in that room gives him the motivation to fight back after the technical break. Still a few games going on here in round 4. Magzutlo keeps playing the long games, but he's playing some good chess as well. Is he on 3 out of 3 before this round?
He is. Both players there on 3 points, and it's a flag fest. They're down to their last few seconds each. It's a dead drawn position, and Magzutlo, time's out, does he? It looks like a draw. Maybe by repetition, actually, because if he had timed out, White would have won. White had a pawn left, checkmating potential. Magzutlo saving it by the skin of his teeth.
All right, eventually a draw. Impressive stuff to be able to do that with so little time. All right, that's it after the first 4 rounds, you guys. We still have a bunch of players on the perfect score. Magnus Carlsen is one of those players. Keimer is also one of those players. Jan-Christoph Duda is also one of those players. A bunch of players here on 4 out of 4. What's the biggest surprise to see on the top pair for you, David?
Ooh, surprises. That one's tough because they're all such good players. I think on paper, the guy in 14th place, Drozdovsky, I think lowest rated in classical terms, but he was one of the top finishers last week. So a Title Tuesday specialist. I'll say the pairing I want next, Kaya, is Mavahed, who's currently in first on tiebreaks, to play against Magnus, because last week there was so much drama. They played each other. Mavahed had a winning advantage against Magnus before disconnecting. So it could be a chance for revenge.
Oh, that's true. Well, we have it all in Title Tuesday, the time trouble, the brilliant moves, and the blunders. This is a lot of fun. The Premier League of chess.
Here we go.
A lot of drama already. The biggest drama, of course, being Hikaru Nakamura losing against a 15-year-old, an international master from the US. Let's do a action replay of the moment when that happened. And this one is presented by Lovable, our presenting partner, Lovable. And already here, we can see Ryo-chan is massively better against Hikaru.
Yeah, the opening just went wrong for Hikaru. He lost all control over the dark squares. He had a beautiful pawn formation, all white pawns on the light squares, but he just lost control, overextended, and here desperation as he sacrificed a pawn, but miscalculation as well from Hikaru Nakamura, who didn't realize that the compensation wasn't sufficient. He wanted to get his knight into the center, but Ryo-chan, his next few moves, so accurate. First, he removes White's very strong knight from the center of the board, here breaking the pin. Next, he jumped in with his knights, and Ryo-chan, not just positionally, but strategically, just totally dominating Hikaru. This was where Hikaru decided he had to go a bit crazy, sacrificed both of his rooks. And one white rook is hanging to the black knight, the other knight attacking the queen. But the sacrifice is not enough. Hikaru just dropping too much material here. And he didn't even manage to put up much of a fight. The game only lasted 5-6 moves after this, as very uncharacteristic. Normally a great defender, Hikaru. There we go. The other rook dropped. That was the beginning of the end. The white pawns providing some counterplay, but just not sufficient. And we saw it on Hikaru's camera. He was furious with himself.
And it was fun when we had Ryo-chan joining us and winning against Hikaru Nakamura when he realized the celebration was huge. First, it seems like he can't even believe it. And then it's just like jumping up and down, screaming out loud. I love that chess can give you those kind of celebrations.
Exactly. I have no doubt he went to his parents there and was jumping for joy, maybe a family hug to celebrate. That's by far the biggest win of his career. He's very, very talented, Ryo-chan. I think he's the next American prodigy who's about to become a grandmaster. But either way, Hikaru not at his best. We have to congratulate Chen, though.
Oh, definitely. And that was today's action replay presented by our presenting partner, Lovable. One of the fastest growing companies in Europe. It makes it possible for anyone with a good idea to create an app. You don't have to be a tech genius to create apps anymore. If you have a good idea and you use Lovable, you can make apps. It's really, really cool, actually. All right, we're heading into round 5, starting in only a few minutes or even seconds, you guys. Let's look out for the pairings. We are hoping a little bit for Magnus Carlsen up against Movahed. A fantastic game in Game Week 2, where Movahed was, if I remember correctly, he was massively better, even winning against Magnus when tech issues happened and he was disconnected and eventually lost that game. That was just heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, I was watching the broadcast with you, with Robert Hess, with Christopher as well, and I could see Robert's heart breaking.
Yeah.
He felt so bad for him because he had this huge advantage, and yeah, you rarely get an advantage against Magnus, full stop. But to have it in such a kind of critical game and to be disconnected, I think he tried to reconnect for 2-3 minutes there, but unfortunately, that's technology sometimes.
Yeah, that is technology. So Magnus did get lucky in that one game last week, but he ended up with 10.5 out of 11 points, and he won Title Tuesday Game Week 2. But he's always fighting for 11 out of 11, the perfect score, as we see him getting ready for round 5, together with Johan Sebastian Christiansen in the Dave Cave. 11 out of 11. How rare is that?
It's extremely rare, Kaya. It's I believe only happened 7 times in Title Tuesday history.
Whoa.
Out of over 550 Title Tuesdays. And I mean, just to put that into perspective, Hikaru Nakamura has won Title Tuesday 106 times.
Oh, wow.
That's equivalent to like more than 2 years of Title Tuesdays, if you count week by week. And out of 106 victories for Hikaru, he's only made 11 out of 11, I believe, once. So you can win it without being perfect. But it's very rare.
Yeah. We will not see Magnus Movahed in this round. We do have Terry against Magnus, though. And Terry was one of the players that Robert brought up last week as one of the players to watch. He is an IM, as far as I remember.
Yep, Renato Terry.
Should we follow this game?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And Terry is one of those speed specialists from Peru who, yeah, he's beaten everyone, I believe, in speed chess at some point in his career. Super speedy. And here we see the game has begun. Talking of super speedy, he's already up 25 seconds on the clock against...
Wow.
Okay, the clock recorrects, but he's already up 15 seconds against Magnus Carlsen, and he's got a better position. His openings are super well-defined, Terry. He's played so much blitz chess in his life that I think he knows exactly what types of positions he enjoys, and he's very, very quick on the mouse, as we mentioned. So Magnus, this is not going to be easy for him. Magnus actually often kind of prefers players who are a bit slower, who try to beat him on the chessboard, so Magnus can hustle on both board and clock, but hard to hustle Renato Terry on the clock. And that white pawn stepping forward was so dangerous for the black knight that Magnus has been forced to play a move he is going to be hating. He's given away a beautiful square, a light square, that can never ever be challenged, an outpost for Terry to use later. But yeah, we've got to say Magnus starts as a big favorite, but we'll see how this one goes. The bishop does occupy the outpost as predicted, hitting the black rook. Now Magnus going for a trade. Renato Terry, I don't think I've ever seen him miss a Title Tuesday. So we've got to say one of the most consistent players out there.
Wow.
He doesn't play as much over the board as some of the others. So very much a specialist.
They have played against each other in Title Tuesday a bunch of times, Magnus Carlsen and Terry. The score is 11-1, as far as I can see.
I'm guessing not in Renato Terry's favor.
11-5, sorry.
Okay. That's not bad.
No, it is 11-1, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
It is 11-1.
That's not great.
Yeah. That's not great, but someone who can pose some problems to Magnus Carlsen on the clock, playing fast, but Magnus is also playing really fast today. I have to say, this no increment thing really is showing off the best of Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, and kind of on paper, it should favor the younger players. Like, they're quicker on the mouse, they've got the speed of thought. The older players typically slow down with age, but Magnus showed in Riyadh at the Esports World Cup that lack of increment is not always a negative. And yeah, it just favors the players who are more confident, I think, overall, more experienced, who trust their instincts, as we see Renato Terry offer a queen trade. Magnus might be tempted, but if you trade queens, the white knight will replace that queen, and from there, the white knight will be staring at some very, very weak pawns. So big dilemma. If Magnus doesn't trade queens, the black knight is hit, the black pawn is hit. This is a bit of a sticky situation. No surprise that Magnus has burned his time advantage and more on this one move. A critical moment to trade or not to trade. Normally Magnus likes his endgames, but this might be the exception to the rule here.
He's definitely thinking about it. As we see Renato Terry joining us, that's great to see. An international master known for being very good, especially in this format. A perfect example that it is possible to specialize in chess and become especially good in the online blitz format that we're seeing in Title Tuesday. Playing really fast. He's up by 30 seconds on the clock.
Looking good for white this position. We see a trade. And, okay, not a huge advantage, but something small to work with. First, this pawn is attacked. Magnus is going to be a bit annoyed that it's hard to defend that pawn. He might have to move his knight out the way to make way for his queen there, or he might have to look for counterplay on the other side of the board. There we go. Harry the h-pawn makes an appearance, and Magnus is trying to distract Terry here. That's the type of move you play when you're a bit scared and you want to turn it around and scare your opponent instead. Doesn't really threaten anything short term, but the white king doesn't have too many defenders around it, so just reminding the opponent of potential danger in the long term. As we see Renato Terry bring his bishop out. Again, just one of the nice things about Title Tuesday, it's totally fair playing field. These IMs get a chance. Renato Terry in tournament chess, he'll never play Magnus. It's that simple. But here, he's 350 points outrated in classical chess. But in Title Tuesday, much, much closer. Magnus making a bit of a face there. Not so happy about his last move. He's hinting that he might capture this very strong knight, but that would cost black his fianchettoed bishop. You nearly never want to trade that one off in any of these King's Indian type of openings. Renato Terry making a very calm pawn move. I have a feeling, Kaya, this is going to become a real time scramble. This is the closest it's been in any of Magnus's games so far today.
Terry is better on the eval bar. Magnus has to fight now in this game for the first time today. This is round 5 out of 11. Bunch of questions in the YouTube chat. Is Fabi playing? Is Hans Niemann playing? Is Bluebound playing? A lot of players traveling today from the Grand Swiss. And Fabi also not playing. I'm not sure the reason for that. But we do have players like Keimer. He's playing, even if he's been traveling.
Yeah, Vincent Keimer, Alexander Grishchuk, Parham Maghsoodloo. We've got some players who did decide to take the jump and made time for Title Tuesday despite their exertions out there in Uzbekistan at the Grand Swiss. Magnus, in the meantime, still worse according to the eval bar. That's probably because the dark squares around his king are a bit weak. Imagine a bishop posting up near the king later, followed by a queen landing on g7 in front of it. There is potential danger in this position, but Renato Terry has dropped low on time. Sometimes that's the problem with having a good position. You want to be perfect, like Johann Sebastian in the earlier game. You want to be perfect, you just don't have time to back it up. And okay, the camera not quite freezing. Renato just that calm, that ice cold right now, trades off a set of rooks. Maybe the white queen will come back now. Maybe we'll see the pawn step forward instead, attacking this little foot soldier in the corner. Looking very, very nice for white, I must say. The bishop's about to post up on a long diagonal as well, making Magnus remember that he's parted with his dark squared bishop. And this one, very nice for white. The queen, though, is a bit trapped, so that's the only pitfall to look out for later.
All right, and the bar now swings over to Magnus' side. He is, for the first time, better in this game.
Bit of a shake of the head, though, from Magnus Carlsen. The black rook coming in. That's the reason he's slightly better now with black. Maybe it was actually more accurate, there we go, to trade off those rooks a couple of moves ago beforehand. Before the bishop had moved, he lost a bit of time there, Renato Terry. Now the black queen gets the chance to dive into white's camp. This is turning while the white queen is offside. She's off still in Uzbekistan. She forgot to catch that flight. The white queen back to civilization. And now it might be the black queen's turn to jump in with some nasty checks. Magnus doesn't take that opportunity, though. He's trying to keep control. Okay, Magnus is in flagging mood. That is for certain. His last move gives it away. Magnus wants to win this game on time. And here we go. The white queen corrects herself, gets into the position a bit more. Ooh, white's position looking fantastic again, but the clock situation, Kaya, it's going to decide this game most likely again.
Yeah, under 1 minute. Meanwhile, Hikaru Nakamura has won his round 5 game. He is now on 4 points, and he is fighting still to win Title Tuesday Game Week 3. But this one, Magnus Carlsen is playing fast, and that could get him the win in this game.
Magnus has a clear plan now. He's going to start trying to bring his king forward. There are holes on the white, on that right side of the board. those white pawns are doomed. They have no defenders around, and that white queen still stuck. And okay, he's trying to get that queen into the game now, attacking this pawn, but watch out. It's all about the black queen giving him some checks. Magnus is turning this position in his favor. Maybe still a draw with best play, but no time on the clock for Terry. This is going to be so difficult to hold. Magnus is the best queen endgame player of all time.
Magnus has this game exactly where he likes it. He is up on the clock and in an endgame.
And look at Terry's face. He's like, oh, please,
Yeah.
draw, go on. Perpetual check. And black can force a draw if he wants. Magnus can keep checking the white king forever, but he's going to most likely go for checkmate at some point. Renato Terry, I'm not sure if he's streaming or not. He is well known as a streamer in his own right, but he seems to be talking to himself, maybe asking Magnus when that draw is going to happen. Magnus, look at that. He's giving all the checks, but not repeating the position yet. What will he do to keep this game going?
Is Magnus now playing on the clock, on Terry's clock?
Definitely. Magnus has not made any progress. He can actually force a draw anytime he wants. But there we go. He keeps the game alive. He makes sure the position doesn't repeat himself. He defends a pawn with his king. And now he'll give 20 more checks, burn Terry's clock a little bit more, and then he'll play a different move, maybe bring the king even further in. No, he takes a pawn instead. White's now better, but Magnus doesn't care about playing the best moves. It's all about that clock. It's gone red. 9 seconds now. The H-pawn is moving. This is a race against time. Magnus is taking huge risk on the board.
Whoa. Remember, no increment. The clock is about to run out for Terry. Oh, 7 seconds.
Yeah, the pawn drops as well. Magnus continues giving the checks, takes another pawn off the board. He's going to move his king now, and another pawn is going to start pushing. It's this one in the near future. It's going to run down the board. 2 seconds for white. No chance to get this game, to solve it now. Magnus leans back. He knows he's about to win on time. 2 seconds. That time is done. Magnus takes the win.
Magnus Carlsen, again, another win. He's on a perfect score. Terry runs out of time, and he's also lost on the board. A great win there for Magnus Carlsen against a fantastic international master. Whew, that was intense, David. Going down to seconds, and eventually Magnus winning on time. Will he be happy with this game?
Magnus will be happy. He knows he didn't play his best. He didn't outplay Terry at all, really. Terry held his own, but Magnus was always ahead on time, always had a draw in his pocket. If he wanted to, he could have bailed out. And ultimately, against these speed specialists, you have to do it. You have to get it done by some means or other. So Magnus did what was needed. That was enough.
And we're down to 4 players now, still with a perfect score after 5 rounds. Magnus Carlsen, Jan Christoph Duda, Ibrahim Lee, and Andrew Tang, all on 5 out of 5. And we will see Magnus against Tang in the next round. Okay, that's a cool one.
Yeah, that's a cool one. Magnus earlier played the bird opening. Now he's up against the penguin GM,
Ooh.
as Andrew Tang calls himself. So let's jump to that game. Magnus Carlsen against another speed specialist. Andrew Tang, strong grandmaster, not one of the elite though, unless you count online chess. And that's what we're playing today. So Andrew Tang, let's see if he can get the job done.
Let's see if he can get the job done. Let's see if we still have players on perfect score after round 6. We do have now 4 players on 5 out of 5. Remember that top 10 players score points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboards. That's why you see top 10 players here are marked with green. That's what it's all about, scoring points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboards. Top 6 players at the end of the season will qualify for the Esports World Cup. All right, here we have Magnus, already slightly better against Tang here in round 6.
Yeah, some quick moves as we catch up here. Magnus is down on time. That's one feature. Magnus is also down in terms of pawns. He earlier sacrificed Harry the H-pawn, gave it up, as he instead fights for an open line, making it very difficult for Black's king to castle in that direction. The white queen is cutting across the board as well. So Andrew Tang is trying to kind of consolidate here, solidify by trading off those queens. Magnus has taken big risks at the start of this game. Will they pay off? He jumps in with his bishop, big threat to take that knight, which jumps. And fascinating position, actually. Definitely opening prep from one of the two. More likely Andrew Tang here, who's barely used any time on his clock. Will Magnus find himself in trouble for the first time in this event, round 6? Eval Bar says black is better. How does Magnus feel about his position? If black gets one more move and takes that bishop, I was going to say it had to jump away. There, Andrew Tang would have been happy, but here we go. Queen trade is imminent. Magnus has got the 2 bishops as compensation as he attacks this black knight. And the clock time, we'll keep an eye on that one. Andrew Tang, for those of you who aren't so familiar, he does stream a lot. He's known as the fastest fingers in the West because he's a specialist at bullet chess, hyper bullet as well, ultra bullet, 15-second chess, 30-second chess, you name it, he's done it. He's just so speedy. You can't flag him. If it's 10 seconds against 10 seconds, Magnus is actually a big underdog.
Really?
So we'll see if it gets to that stage.
In those games, do you always win on the clock, or can you actually make checkmates happen?
Most mere mortals just try to win on the clock.
Okay.
Andrew Tang wins on the board and the clock.
Really?
It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played him multiple times in bullet chess, and I gave up because it was just too difficult. He's just so fast. And actually, he's going to be very happy with his position. Slightly better according to the eval bar for black. That's because black is a pawn up, as we see the white king move. Interesting reluctance to trade queens on the opponent's terms. If black takes off the queen, white gets double pawns, but white also gets the open b file for later. And meanwhile, if white takes off the queens, then the black pawn replaces it, hitting the white knight, gaining time. So a bit of a standoff now between those 2 powerful pieces as the black knights start to relocate. This game, it feels like it's the calm before the storm. Andrew Tang, there we see him on the camera appear for the first time. I'm not going to comment on the the 6-pack of toilet roll behind him.
He had those the first, the game week one as well. We watched a game with Andrew Tang, and those exact 6 rolls of toilet paper were there.
He hasn't been to the bathroom in 2 weeks. Still 6 rolls left. I know that tickled Simon Williams' sense of humor there. Yeah. Yeah, fascinating position on the board. And Andrew Tang looks locked in. I think he was one of the first people who made it really popular to train with the mouse, train mouse speed. He's been on stream kind of playing those games where you're clicking the mouse as fast as you can, as many kind of hits, clicks as you can in a second. And I think multiple players have copied, followed suit. In the meantime, he's trying to trade off a pawn, up 10 seconds. Magnus happy to trade off those pawns. This is definitely the toughest position Magnus has found himself in so far today. If he wants 100%, this is where he needs to keep winning. Andrew Tang, do not underestimate him. They've had some great battles over the years. And okay, Magnus thinking for a long time now. I'm expecting him to trade off queens sooner rather than later. You don't want that tension for long. It kind of cripples you, makes you a bit immobilized on that left flank. You can't do much while the queens sit on the board. Maybe he can trade, followed by jumping in with the white knight. You can trade. Okay, he jumps in with the white knight first. He's taking more pieces off the board, though, when he's a pawn down. Magnus Carlsen, reluctant decision. He's also down nearly 40 seconds on the clock. As he takes a sip of his drink, he's given up with that big water. And Magnus graduating to harder stuff there. But the bishop steps back. Yeah, I do think Magnus is in trouble, actually. Just,
really?
In practical terms, down so much on the clock against a speedy guy and down a pawn. White's only compensation here for everyone at home is the bishop pair. They have great potential, especially the dark square bishop, which kind of cuts across the board and making it tough for the black knight to come out. En passant, we see for the first time today, taking the pawn as if it just moved 1 square. We'll see rooks leave this board as well. And Andrew Tang, it feels like he's trying to remove the risk as much as possible. Happy to trade off because he's up a pawn.
And then also play on the clock. He's up by 30 seconds. And more than that against Magnus Carlsen. Speedy Andrew Tang. Can he win this game?
Ooh, big decision there. He's trying to force white to part with the bishop pair to take that knight. But in doing so, he's had to support the knight with his pawns. He's created a backward pawn here. Magnus is happy to trade off these pawns. You want to step forward and promote with black, but if you step forward, the white rook hunts you down, wins a pawn. So you might have to start trading, heading towards a draw. Who will be happier with that result? We'll see. Still a long way to go, of course. Still enough pieces for Andrew Tang to play with here to try and eke out an advantage. 10 seconds now is the difference on the clock. Andrew Tang pausing, still not quite in the flow. Definitely feels like we're heading towards that time scramble. That would be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the position on the board looking level.
Magnus Carlsen is up against one of the speediest players in the top of chess, the Grandmaster Andrew Tang from the US. he is now down on the clock. Magnus has more time, and it's equal on the bar. Will we see this go down to a time scramble, or will it just be a draw?
I think Andrew Tang suddenly wants to force the draw. He was up by quite a lot on the clock. Now he's down by 30 seconds. His last move, bringing the knight forward, doesn't look like it's doing much, but he was trying to get in to give a check to force a set of trades here. But now Magnus has covered that square, not allowing any knight checks. He's going to try and keep this game alive as long as possible. Magnus hunting down the pawn that he dropped earlier, defended by Andrew Tang. And look at this, the eval bar sliding in white's favor very slightly there. Magnus now can push this pawn forward. There we go. The black pawn cannot take it because the knight has to be defended. Magnus is trying to trick Andrew Tang, and now he's going back for the pawn. This is going to be a long game ahead. This is where Magnus specializes, opposite color bishop endgames, creating a pass pawn now, only 3 squares away from touchdown. Magnus has the advantage on the clock. He's going to try and push it as far as he can. Magnus is the favorite suddenly.
Can he go up to 6 out of 6? Perfect score. Slightly better now on the bar. Andrew Tang pushes a pawn.
Still should be a draw with best play, but Magnus, his pawn is by far the most advanced of them all. He's going to try and push it even further forward later. First, he needs to break the blockade. He's trying to give some checks, annoy that black king. Checks are always the thing that cost you seconds on the clock. They slow you down. You don't have so many options. And there we go. Magnus suddenly massively better. The bar changing its mind because there was a bishop hanging in the position. I'm not sure if either side saw. The black king could have taken the white bishop a few moves ago. Missed opportunities by both players there as Andrew Tang brings the king back to hit that bishop. Okay, mistakes are starting to creep in now as Magnus still up on time. 30 seconds for Andrew Tang, who's just dropped a pawn. He's going to regain it now. Only Magnus can win on the board. He's got an extra pawn. Shouldn't be enough, though, for victory. It's all about the clock.
But do you think Magnus will fight for the win at this point, looking also on the clock?
Yeah, Magnus is going to go for it. He can remove all risk by trading off the rooks. If Magnus wants, he can trade off the rooks with a bishop left. On the server we play on chess.com, it is declared a draw, the game, if your opponent only has a bishop. So Magnus, if he wants to force a draw, he can trade off rooks, but he's got such a big time advantage. He's going to try and play on now. He's going to push his pawn. There we go, getting closer to promotion. The black rook is going to slide across and try and trade off now. Magnus keeps the game alive, but ooh, he could have taken the pawn, Andrew Tang. He missed another opportunity. Rook takes bishop. It's got to happen. He has to take that bishop before it's too late now. Okay, they're playing on. The clock's about to go red. There we go. Andrew Tang, 10 seconds left. 9. He's losing on time here. Magnus is keeping the rooks on the board. That's how he's going to keep winning chances. He's going to try and checkmate the black king. He goes to the top of the board. The king forced out the way. 6 seconds for Tang. 5 seconds. Magnus is getting the job done. Black simply has no time left. 3 seconds. It's a hopeless case almost for Andrew Tang. He needs to get rid of the white rook. He needs to trick Magnus, catch him in a pre-move, and the game ends in checkmate.
Whoa.
Magnus checkmates Andrew Tang.
In huge time trouble, Andrew Tang ends up in trouble. Magnus Carlsen checkmates the American, and look at that smile on Magnus Carlsen's face. That was a huge win for him against one of the fastest players in Title Tuesdays. Magnus Carlsen takes the win. How impressive is that, David?
Wow. To beat a speed specialist like Andrew Tang on time and on the board like he did at the end takes special nerves, special mouse skills, Magnus Carlsen. He's showing that he gets quicker with age. Something about him. Andrew Tang came so close. We can't fault anything he did there. It should have been a draw with best play, but so tough to defend. That's why you need that extra 10, 20 seconds ahead of your opponent on the clock as you enter the closing stages.
Is it eventually down to the great moves that Magnus is able to play, or is it that he plays on the clock, is able to force Andrew Tang into those issues with so little time on the clock?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Magnus, of course, playing almost perfect chess. I believe there was one moment he kind of blundered his bishop, but Andrew Tang trusted him, didn't take it. But other than that, Magnus playing really kind of high-pressure chess, forcing the opponent to make the tough decisions. And there we saw he had a few gears to go up. He started pushing that acceleration pedal, and in the end, the clock was the deciding factor. Despite the checkmate at the end, Andrew Tang would never have got checkmated like that if it wasn't for the time.
34 years old, but Magnus Carlsen is no slow old man. He can still play some really fast chess. He's on 6 out of 6, same as Jan-Christoph Duda, and those two are up against each other right now in round 7. We are, of course, going to follow that game between two of the top players, Jan Krzysztof Duda, playing some fantastic chess today. 6 out of 6 for the Polish Grandmaster, and here he has the white pieces.
Yeah, and Duda full of energy, as we mentioned, skipping the Grand Swiss this year, saving that energy maybe to focus on Title Tuesdays. But in the meantime, this is a classic French defense. We'll ignore the fact that white's slightly better for now because this is still well-known opening theory, as we see the French structure always characterized by these pawns. E6, D5. Magnus now trading off in the center. That is a pawn gain for black here, but the white knight will step back, regain this pawn, which will not be able to hold long-term. Magnus Carlsen down on time. Playing the French normally means that Magnus is all out for a win. He only plays this opening when he wants to take big risk.
Wow.
So clear mindset. Magnus wants 11 out of 11, but so does Duda.
Will one of these players keep their perfect score after round 7? Will we see a win for either Jan Krzysztof Duda or Magnus Carlsen? Historically, in Title Tuesday, the score between them is 11 to Magnus Carlsen, 5 to Jan Krzysztof Duda. Magnus actually has a positive score against all of the top players in Title Tuesdays. This one, no exception, Jan Krzysztof Duda. How good is he in online blitz with the clock especially?
Yeah, and he's maybe one player I haven't seen play so much without the increment, Duda. I've seen him play Title Tuesdays for years. He's always up there. It's, very rarely kind of making that last push and kind of always kind of falling short compared to Magnus and Hikaru. I would say he's dangerous, especially when he has white. Duda with black, his openings aren't as strong. He's always on the defensive. That costs him a bit more time. With white, he's very aggressive. That's why he's so dangerous. 6 out of 6 so far. But I think Duda, kind of on a good day, poses Magnus here some big problems. But yeah, he's got to ensure he doesn't allow himself to drop down on time. He needs to stay ahead of Magnus on the clock. He's not as good, I think, when it comes down to the 1 minute mark. So we'll see. Magnus, his last move, a bit mysterious, you might say, but he's stopping white from breaking through in the center. That f-pawn now has been clamped down on. Magnus controls all the pawn breaks. He's also stopping white from pushing any pawns on that left flank. So Duda still 1 pawn down as Magnus brings his pieces out. The computer here, the bar, really liking white's position. It always does in the French defense when white has the further advanced pawns. But often things do turn around a bit later. For now, Magnus has got to be surely quite happy with his chances. This is a huge clash, Kaya.
It is. Jan Krzysztof Duda better on the bar. Meanwhile, a lot of you wondering about Hikaru Nakamura. He is, after 6 rounds, on 4.5 points. He needs to win basically all of his remaining games to be able to fight for the win. And of course, he needs to hope that Magnus and Jan Krzysztof Duda slips up with only round 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 to go. Magnus slightly better on the bar here. They're almost equal on the clock. A big battle between 2 players, both on a perfect score, on a mission, on a roll today. These 2, who will take the win, or will we see a draw? Big matchup.
Big matchup. And level on time, Magnus, okay, he looked like he reacted there. Maybe not so happy with his move initially. Maybe he should be taking this pawn just to try and isolate some of white's pawns in the near future, not allow the white rook to open up along the A-file. There we go. He does trade. Now Magnus has surely got to castle. Better late than never. And small advantage for black. That is because he has the better bishop. His bishop is doing the pinning. The white bishop is pretty much just a bystander right now. Also, white has an isolated pawn, a backward pawn on an open file. This one is a long-term weakness. So Duda not too happy. The black knight can also start creeping into white's position. Black has the fortress of pawns on light squares, bishop on dark squares. That's kind of 101 of chess strategy. So looking very good for Magnus Carlsen right now as he aims to push this advantage. And normally in these tournaments, 9.5 or 10, that's the winning score. So like you said, Hikaru just needs to win the rest. Hope to get to 9.5. But if one of them wins here, 7 out of 7, they will only need potentially 2.5 points from their last 4 games to clinch the event. 2.5, maybe 3 points. So it's definitely, this one is going to decide who the favorite for the tournament is.
Wow. Jan Krzysztof Duda. He's in classical over-the-board chess. He's had a good score against Magnus.
Yeah, it's been up and down. He went through a phase of losing several games in a row, but then he won several games in a row against Magnus, knocked Magnus out of the 2021 World Cup, ended Magnus's 125-game unbeaten streak. So Magnus, he's got a score to settle, a bone to pick with Jan-Christoph Duda, but the bar suddenly says massively better.
Ooh.
And is that because there's a rook trade right now? Is that because the black queen can swoop in, threaten the white rook at the bottom of the board? Big, big moment here for this week's Tidal Tuesday. He does trade, not the best according to the eval bar, but there we go. Magnus now finds the best move as he trades off the knights. And although he's got double pawns, this pawn is a very strong passer now. 3 squares away from touchdown. The black queen's about to swoop in to support it. Magnus, he has the safer king. He's got the better queen, better rook. He's got the better chances in this game.
And he's better on the clock, Magnus Carlsen, but it is Jan-Christoph Duda in the move. What will he do?
Oof, it's difficult. This pawn is hit as well. So hard to get to the black king. The white king, meanwhile, on the back rank is so vulnerable. All sorts of checkmates if a black rook or queen lands on the first rank here. I was going to say he should probably try that move, the queen to the center of the board, but now Magnus says, I'm going to trade. I'm going to trade on my terms. Is he going to take the queens off now? The white rook cannot take back because of the back rank problems. We'll see the white pawn recapture towards the center, so maybe Magnus will want to avoid helping that white pawn become less isolated. You could also take this pawn off the board. You could also just move the queen out the way, keep it on the board, add a bit more flavor. I think I would choose to keep the queens on if I were Magnus Carlsen, especially up on time. The black queen is so active. But big moment, how much risk does he want to take?
So this is the one thing Magnus Carlsen is thinking about right now, to keep or not to keep the queens.
Mm-hmm. He loves an endgame. He loves to trade. He is a favorite. He has an advantage in that ending, but maybe even a bigger advantage if he keeps the queen on. And okay, there we go. He does take the queens off the board, and now we'll see a pawn fall. Magnus is threatening checkmate to the white king on the back rank. Will that white king move? Nope, some space is given instead. He also has the connect 4. And Duda here might be saving this game if he's lucky now. Magnus is 1 pawn up, but it's not the best pawn in the world. It's not supported. He gives a couple of checks. Now he'll step it forward. Duda will slide behind that pawn. Okay, this is very close. This is like 50% chance it's going to be a draw, 50% chance Magnus wins as he steps forward with his pawn. But the advantage is slowly fading away.
Yeah, and Duda is better on the clock. If he plays fast now, can he put some pressure on Magnus Carlsen?
Oh, it's not going to be easy. I feel like Magnus didn't want to go all out, keep the queens on the board. He wanted to ensure that he's not going to lose this game. Magnus is unlikely to lose on the board. The clock may be an issue. But here for Duda, the question is when to take this pawn. If you take it, you lose your pawn on the edge of the board. So Magnus is going to be a pawn up no matter what, long term. And here we go. Maybe now even better because Duda's weakened himself on the 3rd rank. He's overextended his pawns. Big weaknesses now. And Magnus Carlsen starting to push. The black king is going to come. That's bad news for Duda. The king is activating in the endgame. White now in huge trouble on the board.
Is Magnus Carlsen winning again? Will he go up to 7 out of 7? Massively better on the bar. He has a little over 30 seconds left on the clock. Can he take it all the way? Or can Jan-Christoph Duda save this game?
Magnus giving the pawn back, but he's isolated both of the white pawns here. They're both dropping one after the other. And now we'll see Magnus move in with his king, move in for the kill. Under 30 seconds, his next move is going to be to step forward with the king to take this pawn in the center. That is blocked off by Duda. Great defensive move there. Maybe something Magnus missed. Suddenly it's level pawns again. A check. This one is anyone's game. White has a very dangerous pawn of his own. Duda here fighting strongly. 30 seconds. This is the first time anyone's been up on time against Magnus Carlsen today. Oh, this should now be a dead draw on the position, this rook endgame. Only 1 pawn for black. You can set up what we call the Philidor position. You bring your rook back, check the black king, you stop it from moving forward. Magnus is trying to flag his opponent, but you cannot risk this too much longer. Down to 15 seconds himself. Will we see a check and a draw? Magnus leaning back. He repeats the position. It's a draw.
Wow, eventually a draw. Magnus Carlsen was not able to take it all the way. He was massively better in the game, but eventually a draw against Jan-Christoph Duda, meaning they are both on 6.5 points. Same as move ahead. And now Sidupov. Not able to pronounce that correctly. We do have 4 players on 6.5 points. Magnus Carlsen will not make the perfect 11 out of 11 today, but he is still a favorite to win Title Tuesday Game Week 3. We have other games happening still here in round 7. Keimer has won his round 7 game. Check out some results here. Oh, and let's jump in. Ooh, Hikaru Nakamura loses.
Big news, Kaya. He loses, but look at the clock. His opponent had 1 second left. His opponent gave checkmate with just 1 second on the clock. Hikaru trying to flag at the end there, but loses another game to another IM today. He's just out of shape. Look at that, shaking his head. He knows today's just not been Hikaru's best effort.
Wow. Big win there for International Master Ahmad, winning against Hikaru Nakamura. Not a good day, again, for Hikaru Nakamura. He is probably not going to win Title Tuesday today. He still hasn't scored points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. This split after 3 game weeks, can he make it into top 10 today? It's looking very difficult as we're heading into round 8. All right, some big matchups coming up. Which one do you prefer? Stick to Magnus?
Ooh, they're all tempting, actually.
Yeah.
I'm even tempted by Renato Terry against Vincent Kaimo. It would be nice to see Vincent at some point today.
Yeah.
Some big games, even heading all the way down the pairings there. But I think we have to stay with Magnus for now, as he is one of our 4 leaders alongside... yeah, that wasn't Sidipov. We'll get him up in a moment. That was Andrew Tang. But he is alongside Sinavat Mavahed, who was one of the heroes of last week, and Jan Krzysztof Duda still in the lead. Nobody's on a perfect score. We won't see 11 out of 11 in game week 3. But this position, what will happen? These two do have a bit of a track record. I believe they played in the World Rapid Championship a few years back. Sidipov, another speed specialist. Another very solid grandmaster, never really reached the heights in classical chess, but has been playing a lot online. I believe he had a very kind of strong streak, was one of the top players in the world on the Blitz chess ratings a few years back. But in the meantime, this is a very typical position. Magnus not happy though. It feels like he's lost a bit of his flow. Down on time, Sidipov looking very comfortable with all those trophies. Probably a lot of them for Blitz tournaments. And big question, does Black take this knight? He needs to do something here, Magnus Carlsen.
Grandmaster Sidipov from Russia on 6.5 points, same as Magnus Carlsen after 7 rounds. Playing great chess today, and here he is up against the world #1. And Magnus is probably not happy after that draw against Jan Krzysztof Duda. He was at some point much, much, much better in that game. Will he fight for the win in this one?
Yeah, that's the big question. Black's queen forced to a really ugly square to defend her bishop. And for those of you at home, normally I hate knights on the edge of the board. This time I quite like them. These knights are on outposts. They can't be challenged. This knight, especially at the front, putting pressure on this bishop, it's going to be such a nuisance for the rest of the game. It's going to be hard to get rid of. Sidipov with a big advantage according to the eval bar. Magnus in trouble. Sidipov is now going to challenge, there we go, for the open line, the open c-file there. A trade of rooks on white's terms. This is going to be so difficult for Magnus to get out of. Look at the box in the corner. These 3 pieces, how does he activate those? The bishop, the queen, the rook, stuck, caged. Ooh, this is not looking good for Magnus Carlsen. Sidipov, such a big time advantage as well. 1 minute up as Magnus throws away a pawn. Okay, he needed to change the trend of that game. Gives up a pawn to activate his bishop. But this has all the hallmarks of a fantastic position for white. 2 knights on outposts, full dart squared bind, and extra time. Sidipov, yeah, just so in the flow right now. Magnus in big, big trouble.
Again, Magnus Carlsen, and he's ticked under 3 minutes on the clock, struggling in this game.
And now Sidipov, that's an interesting move. Hitting the black queen. Will he go back with his knight? If he goes back, the black queen has the opportunity to jump again, and we might see a repetition of the position. Other moves Sidipov might consider here are to just give the white king some breathing space. Always a useful move long term, especially with the clock ticking down. And he could also maybe improve the white queen, the white bishop, I was going to say. Very, very interesting position, very tense. Magnus, though, bringing his knight out. And here we go, a dance back between the white knight and the black queen. Sidipov, he's making it clear he might be happy with a draw here. He's trying to kick the black queen constantly back. If he brings his knight forward now, he wants to repeat the position. Look at Magnus. He's debating now whether to repeat. If the queen comes forward, the white knight hits her, she retreats, the white knight returns, and we repeat the position. Sidipov and Magnus, though, continue the game. Can either side make a breakthrough? Magnus, he doesn't want to draw.
Was that objectively a good decision
Magnus,
from both of them?
I think in classical chess, Magnus takes the draw, escapes this game, moves on to the next one. But,
Oh, is this a blunder?
big mistake. Sidipov's blundered his extra pawn back. Look at this, a queen trade. He forgot at the end that this pawn is hanging and the pawn that the Black Knight took is hanging. And look at that, Sidipov reacting, cursing himself. Now there's a check in the air. That is a nasty knight fork, hitting the king, hitting the rook. And Magnus now is going to jump in with his knight, hitting this pawn, hitting the other pawn. He's going to go up material in an endgame. Magnus back in his comfort zone.
Ooh, Sidipov with a blunder. And Magnus is now in the lead in the game.
That happens. That always happens when a player wants a draw. Like you play too much for the draw, you lose focus. He had a big advantage, Sidipov. He had an extra pawn, but he tried to bail out. He was so desperate to trade off the queens. He forgot about everything else, and now apparently he's losing here, Sidipov. I think it's simply because the Black Knight takes this pawn. Okay, he actually goes the other way, Magnus Carlsen, and the A pawn is going to be the winner. Unstoppable. It's going to push forward to promotion. Nothing Sidipov can do. It's going to be game over. That's such a strong pawn there in the corner for Magnus Carlsen. Supported by a rook. It's game over any moment now.
Will he simply resign?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a checkmate. I mean, this knight is pretty much trapped as well. Nothing you can do. You can sit in the corner, keep the game going, but that's such a sad move to play. Instead, he brings his king forward. Sidipov trying to confuse Magnus by attacking this knight, which falls. But there we go. Magnus now supports the pawn with his bishop instead. 2 squares from touchdown. The rook will slide across. Magnus Carlsen in the endgame, as usual, is about to take the win. Sidipov shaking his head. It was so good for so long. But he lost control. Just one slip is all it took.
And look at him. He is not happy. He knew he had chances in this game. It slipped away. Magnus Carlsen is about to win this game with almost 2 minutes on the clock. You see no hope for Sidipov, David.
Yeah, minimal hope. His last move was a good one. He's trying to get his rook behind the passed pawn. A good tip for everyone at home. His idea now is if the black rook slides across to trade off those rooks. Without the rooks on the board, maybe the white king will be able to gobble up this pawn. So some chances it's not over yet. But Magnus, with some accuracy, should be able to get there. I was expecting him to actually come and pin the white bishop. But Magnus offering a rook trade. Okay, maybe it's not quite over yet.
Ooh.
Maybe there's still life left. This pawn is still going to paralyze the white king, though, which will be forced to sit and defend. It's all about whether Magnus can activate his king. He's going to try and come round the front towards the white pawns. This is good endgame technique. You cannot trade off the bishops now because the black king is too close. Will come and win the pawns. Sidipov leaning back. He might well be resigning soon. It is going to be hopeless. Magnus is going to use his pawn to destabilize these ones. The king is going to come in, and it's going to be game over. Oh, Magnus, sacrifice the bishop here. Don't take it, though. A queen would appear on the board. The bishop is going hunting for these pawns instead.
Will we, in fact, see the promotion? Or will it be over before the queen comes on the board?
Oh, I think we'll see either resignation or some kind of promotion. Magnus looking away there. That's a sign that he's very relaxed. I think, if anything, we'll see the promotion of this pawn. Harry the h-pawn, which looks blocked for now. But the bishop is going to remove the blockaders. Nothing to be done about that. Game over.
Sidipov is calculating. Is there any way he can save this against the world #1 drinking from a vase or something? A weird kind of glass. There it is. He resigns. It's another win for Magnus Carlsen. He's on 7.5 points after 8 rounds. It was looking good for Sidipov, but ooh, he is disappointed. He loses to Magnus Carlsen. What do you think of Magnus's play in this game, David?
Very smooth. I would say his opening was not his best. He was actually a lot worse for a while, but once he got a chance, he took it. And in the meantime, I'd like to take us to another game that could have an impact on the top of the standings. It's Renato Terri again, this time against Vincent Keimer, and he's about to take it, Renato Terri, because this pawn is unchallenged. It's about to race down and win this game. Vincent Keimer is about to crash to defeat.
Ooh. Both of these players on 6 points. But Renato Terri is playing great here. Both players at around 30 seconds left on the clock, but massively better on the board. Is Vincent Keimer about to lose? Heartbreak for him in Grand Swiss yesterday. He was close to securing a spot in the candidates, but eventually didn't. and so he would be a little disappointed today. He's been playing great in Title Tuesday today, but it looks like it's going to be a loss for him here in round 8.
Yeah, the problem is that White's going to create 2 pass pawns. There we go, the H pawn, and here it is, the E pawn. And you can't stop them both as the Black King. You can go after one of them, but one will act as a decoy. There we go. Distract the Black King. The other one will make an E queen, and Vincent Keimer leans back. He knows he's not going to flag this one. His opponent has 12 seconds. He's going to try and win on time. But even with just 2-3 seconds here, it should be enough for Renato Terry. With a queen, it's so easy to deliver checkmate. Checkmate here. About to land. There we go. Renato Terry takes the win over Vincent Keimer.
The clock is red, but there's a checkmate on the board. Renato Terry takes it against Grandmaster Vincent Keimer. And that takes Renato Terry to 7 points. Still fighting to win Title Tuesday, Game Week 3. It's getting tight in the top, you guys. We only have 3 rounds to go before the winner is decided. Vincent Keimer leaves. Disappointed with that loss. All the games have finished. We now have 1 player in sole lead, and that is Magnus Carlsen on 7.5 points. And then we actually have 5 players on 7 points. Can the 6.5 players still win Title Tuesday Game Week 3?
They need someone to take down Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah.
They need Magnus to drop points. It's not going to be easy. Magnus will now get a down float. He's already played Duda, Tang, and Terry, though. So we might see Magnus against either Narayanan or Sinner Mavahed. And that's going to be interesting. But Magnus, just as he was at the first break, still in the lead. He looks hard to stop right now.
Yeah. Hikaru Nakamura did win his round 8 game, but he is currently outside top 20. He will be fighting to make his way into top 10, who score points on the champions chest for leaderboard. All right, that was round 8, you guys, in Title Tuesday, the Premier League of Chess.
Here we go.
These are the standings, you guys. Jan Christoph Duda, Andrew Tang, Terry Mavahed, Narayanan, all on 7 points. Right now, how certain do you feel that Magnus Carlsen would take it?
He's a big favorite. I never want to say anything for certain in Title Tuesday because we always see things come down to the wire, right? So it's the last few minutes, last few seconds, of the final round. But if he wins the next one, I think he's going to be feeling confident about his chances.
Yeah. What do you think of his play today?
Smooth,
Yep.
consistent. There's always going to be blunders. I think Magnus maybe 1 or 2 slips here and there. There was a mouse slip earlier, but he won't be complaining too much. I'd be interested to hear his own thoughts, actually, because I think he's maintained a strong level, and he's still got a gear or 2 he can go up if he needs to. But I've also been impressed by Duda, super strong. Andrew Tang, very, very quick. Andrew Tang actually flagged his opponent in the last game in dead lost position.
Wow.
And Renato Terry, another one to watch out for in the final rounds here.
Yeah. I think we're actually going to hear a little bit from Magnus Carlsen's thoughts right now. We're going to do another action replay. We've seen some really, really tense and action-filled packed games over the last few rounds. And remember, especially this one, Magnus Carlsen against Andrew Tang. Andrew Tang, known as maybe the fastest player in Title Tuesdays. The bar at this point is balanced, but the clock is an issue.
Yeah, the clock was an issue. We see Andrew Tang's clock turn red first. Magnus, he was always up on time. He always knew that this was inevitable. It always becomes a time scramble against Andrew Tang, so he stayed ahead. 1 extra pawn for White as well, meaning he's the only one who could win. And eventually he set 1 final trap, and Andrew Tang couldn't hold the pace.
The clocks are red.
And there we go, 3 seconds. Andrew Tang quickly pre-moving. It was
now
this
winning
final pre-move that
position,
cost him.
that's
He moved his
checkmate.
king back, and then
Okay.
the game ended.
104 moves. That's all it took to bring down the penguin. Good flag.
That was Magnus Carlsen's reaction to that win. Calling him, of course, the Penguin. Andrew Tang is known as the Penguin. Why is that?
I wish I knew, actually.
Yeah.
He's always gone under the username Penguin GM1. Don't know what happened to Penguin GM2 and 3, but that was his streaming name. That's been his username on chess.com, on LeChess, and all the platforms for years. And he's always been super fast. So, yeah, the Penguin got his wings clipped today, unfortunately, for Andrew Tang.
Yeah, it was a win for Magnus Carlsen. And Magnus Carlsen is also in the lead with only 3 rounds to go in Game Week 3. Before that starts, we're going to take a look at a highlight from the Take YouTube channel. And this one is all about David Howell. Take a look.
My name is David Howell. I'm a chess grandmaster and an Olympic gold medalist. Today, I'm facing 100 amateurs in a 9-hour blitz marathon. My current blitz rating is 2564. My goal is to climb back above 2600. That's where I used to be. My peak was 2679, but just one slip against a lower rated player can cost me everything. 30 games ahead of me with no room for mistakes. The first few games, smooth, clean. I can feel the rhythm right away. But my next opponent isn't just another amateur. It's Håvard, the 13-year-old prodigy who's already beaten some of the best players in the world online. But this is over the board. This is going to be different, right? Handshakes and we're off.
You can see this full video on the Take YouTube channel. David Howell basically farming rating points. No shame.
Yeah, no shame at all. What can I say? You know, I'm looking for my second profession, you know, my side hustle, and if it's got to be a farmer, so be it.
This was a long day for you. You played chess for how many hours?
It was just under 9 hours.
Holy cow.
And I'm not getting any younger either, so it was tough. Every round I felt like I was playing a teenager. They just wanted to beat me. I was the top seed by quite a bit. So I had a target on my back. There was some twists and turns. There was one big down, followed by some better games. So I hope everyone enjoys the video and checks it out.
Yeah, go check it out. I really recommend it on the Take YouTube channel. All right, round 9 is about to start in the Premier League of chess.
Wow, Sulaidis blunders his rook for a knight. Hikaru now is up. Look at the reaction from Sulaidis. So angry. That was a blunder. He pre-moved. Look at this, much better, massively better against Hikaru.
And there it is. Wow. What do you think about that reaction, David? Look at that.
He's up and down. He's out of his chair. He's off to tell mum and dad.
That celebration might be the highlight so far today. Look at this. Players are getting ready for round 9. Hikaru Nakamura is, of course, streaming. Been struggling a little bit today. Can he fight back? Magnus Carlsen is in sole lead after 8 rounds, enjoying himself in his streaming room. And we do have Johan Sebastian Christiansen in the Dave Cave, our guest streamer today. It's been up and down, but he won his round 8 game, Johan Sebastian, and here are the pairings for round 9. It is Magnus Carlsen against Movahed, and let's remind you guys again what happened last week. Magnus Carlsen was in huge trouble against Movahed. The youngster was about to win his game against Magnus, but then disconnected and eventually lost that game on time because of technical issues. Magnus got lucky then. What will happen in the round 9 game today? Magnus today has the white pieces. And okay, look at that. We are in full control of the tech. We will see if Movahed disconnects today. What are we seeing on the board, David?
Yeah, we're seeing the main line of the King's Indian defense. I'm wondering what we're seeing because no moves on the laptop, but moves on the board. Yeah. And Sinan Banfarhed, I hope he spent the last week getting a proper connection, you know, getting one of those, you stick it into the wall, no reliance on the Wi-Fi. And we'll get him back in a moment. But this is a big opening debate. Magnus is playing his A-list openings. That shows how much he respects his young opponent, a teenager from Iran. As we see the typical characteristics of the King's Indian defense. Black tries to attack on the right side, where the kings lie, hence the King's Indian name. And white, meanwhile, tries to advance on the opposite flank. You can push your pawn forward, for example, or you can start trading stuff off. But black's idea is to go for the white king a bit later. Interesting. Magnus, I would say his one Achilles heel is that he sometimes neglects king safety. So this is the way to beat him, if there's any way at all.
Okay, he is now much better, but he doesn't look super happy on his camera. And he definitely is down on the clock. Movahed so far playing really fast.
Yeah, and this is still one of the main lines of the King's Indian. And the reason the King's Indian defense is so tricky is because computers always say white has a huge advantage. One move later, you get checkmated. So it's one of those openings that can swing. You need to maintain superhuman levels of precision and accuracy if you want to keep the white position afloat often. Magnus, he loves this last move. He might swing his rook up and across a bit later. Watch out for that one to happen. It's one strategy, one technique he loves in the King's Indian defense. More likely he's going to be pushing one of these pawns forward first, though. And he did lose a big game against Hikaru Nakamura in the Esports World Cup, Magnus Carlsen, in the King's Indian defense. So maybe that's why Sinem Mavahed, a very aggressive player by nature, is trying to follow suit. Now the pawn storm has begun. The pawns are going to roll towards the White King. It is a bit scary. We did see Magnus lift his rook up the board. And now most likely we'll see a trade of pawns in the near future. First, trying to kick away the Black Knight, which most likely will retreat. But sometimes you can sacrifice that piece, leave it where it is, and support a pawn storm instead. This one, I have a feeling it's going to be fiery. I have a feeling it's going to be decisive, because the King's Indian very rarely ends in a draw.
All right. We do love that. Mavahed is only 15 years old, and he's playing against Magnus Carlsen for the second week in a row. Can he win it this time?
Yeah, this time the opening looks to have gone Magnus's favor. This last move, a really cool knight sacrifice. I'm hesitant to call it a sacrifice because next move you get the Black Knight back in return, so it's just very temporary here. Magnus looks like he was on Baywatch a second ago. His hair was blowing in the wind. I believe we got a new fan out there in his streaming room.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm a fan of what he's been doing on the opening, in the opening here as well on the board.
He does kind of have the Mitch Buchanan hair style, doesn't he? A little bit.
Yeah, he's trying to go for it at least.
Yeah. Baywatch. All right.
Okay, which way?
I was trying to think of some cool pun to say about Baywatch and this position, but I couldn't come up with anything.
Let's watch Bay play some chess.
Ooh.
No. Okay, Magnus is going to take back this pawn in the center before it's too late now. And we see why the white rook has swung up the board. It's going to act as a guardian of the third rank. I would still be very scared here with white about some potential checkmates, especially if the black queen can bring herself into the attack. Magnus frowning. He's not going to be so comfortable, despite what the eval bar says. These four pawns are so strong, they kind of cut the board in half, and maybe this is why. The white queen gets there first. The black king also quite open, and whoa!
Oh, no!
Looks like a blunder from Sinem Mavahed. The white knight could also come forward there, threatening some checkmates. Instead, he swings his rook. Brilliant move by Magnus Carlsen, hitting the black knight. Bishop takes rook now. Looks like it wins material, but the white bishop will take back. And once the white bishop gets on track, gets into this diagonal, the black king is done. It's toast. Magnus is winning. That was a huge blunder from Mavahed. He should have instead brought his bishop out, and he would have been able to keep the balance, or at least stay in the game. Now it's just over immediately. It's either checkmate or black loses loads of material.
Why would he move his knight out to the rim?
Yeah, he thought it was an attacking post, but white has too many defenders, and it's actually white who's about to deliver checkmate. Look how strong white's bishop is. Look how little defense black has over the light squares. First, you probably want to take this rook and then land your bishop in. And one thing not to do is to take this knight right now, because the black rook slides across with a check. And the black queen would actually regain the white queen next. Magnus gives that check. The bishop's too strong. You just got to take it. And Magnus is about to win. Wow, this has been totally different from their last encounter last week.
Yeah. When I check it out in the take app, I can see that it's 4.0 advantage for Magnus Carlsen. In words, massively better. Not quite winning, but when it's Magnus Carlsen playing. And Mavahed only has about 1.5 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah.
I guess it's close to winning for Magnus.
Yeah, and it's not the type of position where the +4 advantage suddenly disappears either. It's the type where you probably have several strong moves for white. He could have brought his knight forward, trying to land some nasty checks. Instead, he moves his king out the way. Now he is threatening to take that knight, which had to be defended by its queen. But now the black rook is really, really loose, and Magnus happily trades it off. The advantage dropping a little bit, but Magnus trying to take a safe way to win this game. There was a checkmate threatened. But now, ooh, Mavahed, that's a really sneaky move. Magnus might shake his head. Queen takes knight was Magnus's idea, but now the black queen will come out with a check, hit the king, and hit the white knight. It's no longer over. Magnus definitely missed that last move. Wow. That is genius, that last move from black. He played it instantly, giving up his own knight just to land a check. Okay. Magnus needs to keep control. He's actually the exchange down. We shouldn't forget Magnus sacrificed earlier a rook for a bishop. So he needs to somehow maintain the attack. Otherwise, this could turn. Queen takes knight now. Magnus wants to bring his queen back to h5 to deliver a checkmate. But not going to be easy. Some calculation needed.
Move ahead is ticking down to 1 minute left on the clock. Magnus is massively better, but all right. Is it turning?
It could turn. We're about to see a forcing sequence. Magnus is threatening checkmate in 1, so this is a very narrow path for Move ahead to navigate now. He needs to walk a tightrope. He gives a check in the corner, forcing Magnus's king forward, but that was the wrong check to give. He actually needed to check from the side, from the diagonal, in order to stay in this game. This is how easy it is to go astray. Magnus now can walk away, and he's going to try and hide, maybe use his bishop as a blocker, and this should be winning. Impossible to stop checkmate, so as soon as the checks dry up, Magnus is going to win this game. He walks across towards his bishop first. This is now winning for Magnus Carlsen on the clock and on the board. Of our head, down to 40 seconds, keeps giving checks. Which way does Magnus go? Does he try to creep away this side? Does he slide back to the right? But the position would then repeat itself. Magnus, he hasn't found the way forward yet either. It's not obvious. Computer says it's winning, but we're not computers. We're not privy to the exact variations needed. And look at this. Beautiful from Magnus Carlsen. He finds the winning move, throws his bishop in the way, giving up that bishop's life in order to deliver his own checkmate. Checks are soon going to dry up.
Wow. Just wow from Magnus Carlsen. Both Andrew Tang and Jan-Christoph Duda have won their games here in round 9. They're both now on 8 points. Magnus Carlsen, if he wins this, will be on 8.5. 19 seconds left for young Move ahead. Is there any hope for the youngster, David?
No, he's done. He's giving one last check, but now the White King slides. Checks have gone. Magnus Carlsen wins, about to deliver checkmate, and talking to himself there. He must be proud of himself, Magnus. That was such a complicated game.
Wow. With the white pieces, Magnus takes another one, and he goes to 8.5 points, a smile on his face. Wow.
That was a potential banana skin, and he missed a couple of moves there, Magnus, but he always kept his head. He always kept his cool. And at the moment where he needed to find the narrow path to victory, he found it. And he keeps his lead. That's his reward.
Look at that. Magnus Carlsen is on 8.5 points. Almost a perfect score with 2 rounds to go as round 9 is rounding up. All right. Magnus Carlsen, is he impressing you today, David?
Yeah, so much. Actually, it's often a case where you win a Title Tuesday and you set your standards so high like you did last week that it's hard to maintain it. I've seen it with Hikaru before, I've seen it with Hans Niemann, with Magnus. Often you just set this impossible level, and maintaining it is so tough, especially because Magnus, he doesn't play so much at the moment. He's got other stuff going on. To maintain the consistency is incredible.
Yeah.
But shout out to Duda and Andrew Tang, keeping the chase alive.
Exactly.
Duda is still unbeaten, just dropped 2 draws. Tang has only lost to Magnus in that massive time scramble. And I think Magnus not having kind of dropped too many points now, having already played the 2 closest chasers, that means he's now a huge favorite. He's going to get a full 1 point down float in the next round.
Exactly. I kind of hope he's going to play Grishuk in the next one. I did see his name now on 7.5 points, Alexander Grishuk. He is a fantastic character in the world of chess. Let's see if he plays Magnus in the next round. 8.5 points now for Magnus Carlsen with 2 rounds to go. Can he take it again and win 2 Title Tuesdays in a row? He's got 39 Title Tuesday wins historically. This could be number 40. And look at that! We do get Magnus Carlsen against Alexander Grishuk. And why do I get excited when I see Alexander Grishuk? He's a very entertaining player, both in person, but also with his style, right?
Yeah, style-wise, he's such a classy player, great positional feel, great tactical ability. He's been one of the world's best since the kind of mid-90s, late 90s. And off the board, Thug Life. Yeah. For anyone who hasn't searched chess and Thug Life on YouTube, go and do it after this stream, because Grishuk is known for his snappy comments, very dry humor.
Yep.
And very, very colorful character.
We gotta love Alexander Grishuk. Here he has the black pieces against Magnus Carlsen, who is in the lead with 2 rounds to go. What are we seeing on the board, David?
Yeah, early days, it's a Sicilian, a bishop b5 check Sicilian, as they call it. Essentially, white came out with a bishop early. Now that bishop's dropped back after a flurry of moves there. And we see the position normalize. Normally, in these situations, all the pieces remain on the board for a long, long time. So maximum tension. Magnus tends to go for this variation when he's happy with a draw, when he doesn't want to take too much risk. He did it in his World Championship match against Anand in 2013, 2014. He's had this in his repertoire for so long. Grishuk, in the meantime, needs to win to take down Magnus to have any chance of coming first in this tournament. So Grishuk keeping all the pieces on the board makes a lot of sense as well. Grishuk is a 3-time Blitz world champion, so not someone we should underestimate, although he is also known as a time trouble addict. It's that great paradox, a great time trouble addict who always drops low on time, but someone who can handle it well. And there we see Grishuk shaking his head. I believe he's home at the moment, so he must have made it back from Uzbekistan. I've seen him streaming from this room before. And here we go. Magnus has the big, strong pawn center, so small advantage for white, but black is super solid. Black will bring the rook to attack the white bishop on the open line. Black will get castled. He uses his queen instead here. And a very normal, balanced position. Grishuk has actually beaten Magnus several times in classical chess. So Magnus has got a lot of respect for his opponent here. And I can tell that in the opening choice. We'll see how it unfolds. Magnus' second white in a row, we should mention. So he might get black in the last round, so not going to be easy for Magnus if he doesn't win this game. Grishuk gets castled, and white continues to improve. The white knight's goal is to actually sit in front of its king. So still very level on the board, almost level on the clock. Grishuk so locked in. I've never seen him smile during a chess game, Alexander Grishuk. I wonder if today is the day, Kaya.
If he wins against Magnus Carlsen here, maybe we'll see a smile on Alexander Grishuk's face. 7.5 points is played and got some good results today.
And okay, the black rook slides across. The white knight drops back. Maybe we'll see the black knight also drop back. The knight on f1, there is no fun, as they say. It means the opponent will not checkmate you, and the two knights will sit as guardians in front of their king. For me, Grishuk has to stay roughly on time. I don't know what he was doing with his mouth there a second ago. Looked like he was blowing a kiss to the camera, but just pursing those lips, getting ready for the action. Drops his bishop back now. Very slow, cagey start to this game, but 20-second differential. That worries me a little bit. Grishuk not trusting his instincts now. He's normally better in positions where it is clear what the plan is. And for black, no clear plan. He pushes forward. He's going to continue advancing. There we go. And still, Magnus needs to decide what to do next. Will the rooks come off the board? Will we see some trades? Magnus says no. Open line is yours, but he centralizes his rooks. White's pieces are ready for some kind of attack. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops his bishop back in the near future, getting it out the way of the queen and the rook. And Grishuk about to drop under 3 minutes. Magnus following in his footsteps there, dropping his knight back. Super cagey, such an important game. If Magnus wins, he's odds on to win the tournament. If Grishuk wins, anything can happen. Okay, the pawns storming forward, but not really biting on anything here. No real plan behind that, just gaining space, hoping in the long term those pawns could become a bit scary, arguing that Magnus's attack is not doing too much. Magnus grimacing there, not too happy with his choices. Black queen coming out. She's guarding along the 5th rank, keeping her side of the board nice and safe. No white knights can leap. We see a first trade. That's good news for Grishuk. Lacking space in the center, so trading pawns. Magnus gesturing again. He's setting up a nasty trap. Bishop takes pawn is the threat, since the black knight would have lost its protector. So the black bishop doubles down. And Kaya, what are your predictions in this big game? Looks like it's level on the board and clock.
I'm just hoping for a smile on Grishuk's face now. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, Magnus hydrating, getting ready. This might be actually the move that gives him the advantage. I thought all things were level, but the bar now says that white is better. This is a board-cutting sacrifice. That means when the pawn takes on d5 here in the center, the white pieces flood towards the opposite flank. The white knight will leap forward, attacking a bishop. The white queen has some potential over on that side as well. The black queen has been shut out of the game. This pawn push, so important. Magnus with a great move there. And Grishuk tanking. Grishuk deep in thought under the 2-minute mark. That's bad news for Grishuk fans now. No thug life if you have no time. And now we'll see Magnus trade off pawns. And the black queen is vulnerable in the center. Not good at all for black now. The white queen drops back first of all, aiming to bring the bishop towards some weak pawns. The black king is vulnerable on this diagonal. The black queen steps forward. Looking like Grishuk just wants to maintain this position to keep things stable. Magnus has been gesturing so much with his hands, talking to himself, talking to the fans out there on his stream. He's trying to keep himself motivated. It's so hard to maintain the energy for 11 straight rounds. And look at this pawn sacrifice. It could not have been taken. There would have been some tricks against the Black Queen. Now Magnus is winning because he's getting his queen in. It's all about the light square diagonal, the bishop cutting across the board, the white queen coming in as well. No defenders now around. The white knight is nearby. The white bishop is so strong. Grishuk in huge trouble, frowning there. Checkmate within a few moves. Magnus delivering way more checkmates this tournament than I've seen from him in recent times.
Wow.
He's got blood on his mind. How does the Black Queen get back into the defense? She can't move. She has to defend her pawn. This looks over. The Black Bishop jumping in the way, but now the white pawn steps forward, attacking it, kicking it away. Down to 1 minute, Grishuk. If the bishop retreats, that is bad news. The white knight is going to jump in. The white queen is coming in. Watch out. Magnus has one threat to deal with, but that's easily defended. The white knight can move out the way. You can use your rook. There we go. Magnus uses his queen to defend the checkmate threat.
Responding immediately.
Yeah. He needs to. He needs to. Grishuk. He's setting up some traps, though. Hitting a rook. This will be defended, most likely, by another rook. Magnus slowing down.
He has a lot of time on his clock, Magnus Carlsen, and he's massively better on the eval bar. Grishuk in trouble, less than a minute on the clock, and he's up against the best player in the world. Is there any way he can save this? Still a lot of pieces and pawns on the board.
Still a lot of action left, potentially, but this last move, I think, might be the clincher for Magnus Carlsen. This queen defends her rook, but she's also threatening potential checkmate. That black bishop is under fire and can never, ever move due to the checkmate behind it. Some tactics in the air, though. Grishuk really, really tricky. He wanted to bring his rook down and break the coordination between white's pieces. But first, Magnus, look at this. So calm, cool, collected, so classy. Putting his king in the corner. No more checks for black. Now it's safe. He takes this bishop. He's about to win, and Magnus wins. Grishuk resigns down a piece. Magnus stays in the lead.
Oh, look at that. Magnus Carlsen takes another win with the white pieces against Alexander Grishuk. Again, playing some great chess. Playing super fast in that game, Magnus Carlsen. And he's up to 9.5 points.
Yeah, in the meantime, Andrew Tang against Duda, so critical for the standings.
Ooh.
Both half a point behind Magnus entering this game. And look at this, Duda is about to win on the board. I can't count very well at the best of times, but black here has a knight, 2 bishops, and a rook for the queen. Now it's a rook and 2 bishops for the queen, but look at this, a new queen about to appear, and Duda takes the win. Duda is Magnus's nearest challenger.
Oh, this was a huge one. Andrew Tang down to 13 seconds. He loses on the board to Jan Christoph Duda, taking Duda to 9 points with only 1 round to go. He is half a point behind Magnus Carlsen. We have several players now on 8 points. Keimer is still playing. He looks like he is in trouble here in round 10.
Yeah, we could jump to that game because potentially, and I'm just looking at the scores there, potentially whoever wins this game still has a chance of coming first.
Yeah.
But Vincent, he's got a small time advantage. Big trouble for him on the board, though. His king is so weak, so open. The white bishop is dead as well. And look at this. His opponent, super strong, Hao Wen here. And he's opening up lines towards the white king. That king might well be checkmated if Vincent Keimer isn't careful. But look at this, swapping queens now. Vincent Keimer's back in the game. He's flicked in a check. He's won some material. And he's turned this around completely. It's a time scramble. The black clock has turned red. 5 seconds for Hao Wen here. He's about to lose on time. All of his pawns are dropping. The white king stepping forward. The white pawns are marching. That pawn was poisoned. The black knight trying desperately to jump, but 2 seconds for black. The pawn's marching. Vincent Keimer's about to take the win. No time, simply. He gets a pawn. The clock ticks down to 0. And white, 2 moves away from checkmate, wins the knight. Game over. Surely a queen appears. The game continuing on pre-moves. Vincent Keimer wins it on the clock.
There it is. Mate in 10 and a win for Vincent Keimer in a very dramatic game. 2 red clocks. He wins on the clock and on the board. Wow, look at that. That must have been exhausting for Vincent Keimer. But what a win. Taking him to 8 points. Still a slim chance of winning Title Tuesday Game Week 3 with 1 round left. Well, he's not going to win, of course.
No.
Because Magnus Carlsen is on 9.5.
That's right. Magnus Carlsen or Jan Krzysztof Duda.
Yeah.
It's a race between those two. Magnus needs to slip up because Duda's already played him. Duda's fate is out of his hands, but Magnus, he's got it all to lose now. It's his for the taking.
Yep. And he's up against Andrei Esipenko in round 11, the final round in Game Week 3. Esipenko ended up in 2nd place in Game Week 1. Super strong player and extremely good in the online blitz format with no increment. Here we go. It's round 11, final round, you guys. Will Magnus Carlsen take it for the 2nd game week in a row? It's all in his hands with the black pieces.
Yeah, and Magnus has played an opening again that shows he wants to win. He's played an open Sicilian. He normally only goes for those when he's feeling quite ambitious. A draw for Magnus, and if Duda wins, we would see tie breaks decide who comes first. Magnus doesn't want to leave anything up to chance, so he wants to win this game. But against Esipenko, he's got a mixed track record. He's lost to him twice in the World Cup, once in 2023 and... in 2021, and in Vike and Zay. Esipenko coming off the back of a Grand Swiss where he was very successful. He beat Nepo in the last round. So Esipenko here going on the attack. Look at this. White pawn stepping forward. He wants to pawn storm the black king side there, the right flank. First a check. Will the Esipenko's king move? Will the knight jump in the way and block? I'm just loving how this game has started. It really promises a proper fight, proper fire on the board. And especially if Esipenko gets this pawn going. G for gold. He needs to go for gold here to win this tournament. Or to actually not win this tournament, but to try and get second to Esipenko.
Yeah.
Because he's 1.5 points behind Magnus Carlsen as Carlsen closes the center with his pawns. Slightly better for white, it says, and Esipenko needs to win this game.
Jan Krzysztof Duda is the only one who can take the win away from Magnus Carlsen. He is up against Andreikin, super strong player in the final round. I will keep an eye on that game and keep you guys posted, but it is in Magnus Carlsen's hands. If he wins this, he wins Title Tuesday, Game Week 3.
Yeah, he's been so impressive, but there we go. He's going to have to do it the hard way because Esipenko here, he wants to attack. He threw his G-pawn forward, and it's going to be a continuation of that theme. The white pawns are all going to launch themselves forward, and Magnus Carlsen's king has to decide where to go. Is it going to slide into the line of fire, into the danger? Probably not. It will want to go the other way. Magnus making his intentions clear. Andrei Esipenko needs to be quick here because the black king, if it gets to safety on this side, might allow Magnus to launch a counterattack while the white king is stuck in the center. And Esipenko is burning a lot of time trying to find the energy to continue his attack. Unable to find the right path forward. And yeah, I'm not liking his clock usage right now. And there we go. Massively better for Magnus Carlsen. As the computer, jumps back. Maybe there was something even stronger for Magnus. But he's now going to castle his king. And he's going to be very happy with developments here. There we go. Black's king is safe. Magnus Carlsen is going to feel he's got an advantage.
Duda is also much better already in his final game of Game Week 3. A win won't matter, though, if Magnus Carlsen takes the win in this one. Although, all points matter on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. 2nd place will give Duda 7 points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Crucial points to qualify for the Esports World Cup. Magnus Carlsen on fire today.
Yeah, he got, 10.5 last week? He wants to match it again this week. And, it was 10 points last week. He did lose to Faruja, so maybe he wants to go half a point better. If he gets 10.5 unbeaten, he was threatening to skewer the white queen and the white rook. That white rook has got out of the way. But still, look at that exchange sacrifice from Magnus Carlsen, giving up his rook for just a bishop. But this is brutal. This is just winning for Magnus. He's going to take this pawn. There we go with his bishop. The white queen almost trapped. The black queen's going to slide in with some painful checks next. Andrei Esipenko looks ready to resign this game. This looks over. White's queen just nowhere to go. If it steps forward, then the black queen swoops in, wins a key pawn. Andrei Esipenko looks like he knows that disaster is about to strike here. He looks devastated.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's what you get in Title Tuesdays, you guys. A close look at player emotions. They let them out on camera. Heartbreak here for Esipenko, not happy with his play. Magnus Carlsen already massively better. Talking away to his fans. You can, of course, watch Magnus Carlsen's point of view stream. He resigns under Esipenko.
Wow, disastrous final few moves for him. He tried to attack, got attacked himself, Andrei Esipenko. But Magnus, that was a masterclass. He takes game week 3 of Title Tuesday 2 in a row, 10.5 out of 11. Nearly perfection from the world number 1.
Magnus Carlsen is becoming an expert in the new Title Tuesday format. With 5+0 on the clock, he takes it for the 2nd week in a row, and this time with an even better score than last week. 10.5 points. That is so close to perfect. Will he take 11 next week? He wins it. Game week 3. Magnus Carlsen once again. Wow. How impressed have you been with Magnus today, David?
I'm running out of superlatives for him. He's just been so impressive.
What is it exactly today? What's been his strongest suit?
I mean, it's, again, I've got to just say consistency. He's just never blunders. Like, he never makes it easy for the opponent. Like, even when players have had the advantage, Renato Terry was slightly better, Grishuk was doing okay. Like, yeah, he just never gives them an easy chance. He makes it tough, and he's been super quick, Magnus. He's been the one ahead on the clock for most games. So it's like an extra ace in it, kind of up his sleeve. As if he needed an extra advantage, Magnus. He's also got the clock on his side. So yeah, very, very impressive, and congratulations for him. For his victory. We'll get a few words from him a bit later, I believe.
Oh yeah, hopefully. That's his 40th Title Tuesday win in history. So
Wow.
round number. A little bit to celebrate there for Magnus Carlsen. Players are still fighting, though, for crucial points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Jan-Christoph Duda with 9 points heading into round 11. It looks really good for him with the white pieces against Andreikin. Is that the game you want to jump to, or?
Ooh, good question, because it looks like we have a choice here. Duda is winning in a very kind of stable way. Hikaru is also winning. Who do we want to end on?
Maybe we check in with Hikaru. That would be interesting. Hikaru Nakamura did lose in an earlier round, like he also did last week. But here he is, trying to finish off in style to take him to 8.5 points. He's massively better against Terry, which we keep jumping into an IM, but he's just super good in this online blitz format. Struggling here, though, against Hikaru Nakamura.
Yeah, Terry earlier went for a incorrect piece sacrifice. So currently, Hikaru as black has an extra piece. That's why black is winning right now. Initially, I thought, oh, white's got a huge attack. This looks beautiful. But ultimately, the extra piece will count. Black's king is open, but not open enough. He's got enough defenders around it, especially this knight is doing a great job of defending its bishop. This one could turn, though, if Hikaru blunders. He's lost to 2 IMs already today. IMs seem to be his kryptonite today in game week 3. So let's see what Hikaru is able to do to rectify that. He brings his bishop out. That is a great move. Full control, Hikaru Nakamura. He's lined up his bishop with the white king, reminding white that a counterattack is possible. He's also forced this move, not something Terry wanted to play. Now the white rook is cut off. It wanted to use that square itself to go for the black king. And Hikaru desperately trying to get the queens off the board. Maybe there's a knight jump now. Maybe this black knight can jump out the way, attacking the white queen. Nope, he lines up his bishop and queen instead. He's going for checkmate himself. Hikaru Nakamura drops his knight back, double attack, hitting the rook, hitting the queen as well. And a rook falls. Renato Terry desperately trying to keep this game alive, but a full rook advantage for the world number 2. Hikaru, despite the disappointment, is going to end on a high. I don't think he'll make the top 5. But Hikaru is going to take the win in this game. He's threatening this nasty checkmate in the corner that the white knight has to stop. And Kaya, at least some kind of solace for Hikaru here.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to take 8.5 points today, Hikaru Nakamura. But no win for him. The win is for Magnus Carlsen. And second place goes to Jan-Christoph Duda, who wins in the final round against Andreikin. Great stuff from Jan-Christoph Duda. It is really nice to see him, after a tough period, especially in over-the-board chess, do well in online blitz.
Yeah, Duda, he's just a classy player, and he's been up and down. He's talked about motivation, but yeah, no motivation issues here as he cruised towards second place, 10 out of 11. Hikaru Nakamura, meanwhile, delivers checkmate. Beautiful finish to his game. Promotion, then a checkmate, and at least he ends on a high.
Definitely finishing with a beautiful checkmate with the black pieces. Heartbreak for Terry, who finishes with a loss in game week 3 after playing some great chess. 8 points. That's a good score, but 8.5 for Hikaru Nakamura. We are seeing the finish to Title Tuesday Game Week 3. It will be Magnus Carlsen on top of the standings for the second week in a row. Jan Christoph Duda will take second place. And Andrew Tang has won his final game. So there will be third place for Andrew Tang. Hikaru is now inside top 10, scoring his first Champions Chess Tour points of the season.
Yeah, but should we jump into a time scramble? Because it looks like players are trying to flag each other.
Oh, I like that.
Vincent Keimer just wins, just as I said it. He won on time. Okay, actually, the last games ended there, all about the clock. As Serrano won on... Oh, sorry, Serrano lost. Oh, wait, he won on time in his game.
Yeah, look at that.
He was dead lost on the board, so I got confused for a second. Vincent Keimer was also dead lost, won on time. So those two winning have kicked Hikaru down the standings out of the top 5.
Look at that. That takes Vincent Keimer to 9 points and fourth place. So a really good finish for the German there. But it is Andrew Tang who takes third place. And Magnus Carlsen, of course, with first place. So we are waiting for Magnus to make his way from his streaming room, where the mood has been fantastic today, over here to the studio where we're going to have a chat with him. Talk about his second win in a row, his Title Tuesday win number 40 in history. Hikaru Nakamura ends up, it looks like, in 8th place to score his first Champions Chess Tour points. But this isn't the Hikaru we're used to seeing in Title Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, that's been one of the biggest stories. I think we all have to face it. Like, Title Tuesday has been synonymous with Hikaru Nakamura for so many years. He's won over 100 Title Tuesdays. It's like his bread and butter. He was the one who kind of made it popular. Hikaru being there every week forced top players to go there to challenge him. And just very surprising that he hasn't quite been at his best. Other priorities, maybe qualifying for the candidates, kind of going for those rating points over the board. But we'll definitely see Hikaru back at some point. It just wasn't this week, unfortunately. And it's just those early rounds, I think, just lacking the motivation maybe against the IMs that cost him this week.
It is nice to see players from every corner of the world almost on the top 10 list. Title Tuesday is a lot of action, a lot of fun. It is the Premier League of chess.
Here we go.
Like magic, Magnus Carlsen, the winner of Title Tuesday Game Week 3, is joining us in the studio. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is actually your Title Tuesday win number 40, round number. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I wasn't aware of that, but sure.
And your second in a row. Have you solved this format, Magnus, with 5+0?
I think 5+0 is good for me. I usually am up on time in my games, so that's good. I'm not particularly good at flagging, but I am good at being up on time. So, and I enjoy like playing 2 against 1 a lot, where you have the opportunity to flag your opponent.
Have you felt like you've been in trouble at all today?
Like in big trouble, no. There were some shaky-ish moments, but this was definitely one of my more comfortable Title Tuesday wins. Like last week, there were a lot of iffy moments, but apart from the fact that Duda played incredibly well, he defended really well against me as well. I felt that, this was quite deserved.
Definitely. And I heard rumors that on stream, in your round 9 game against Movahed, you said something in the lines of this being one of the most interesting games you've ever played. We have an action replay of some moments from that game. Would love to hear what you were thinking during that game.
I mean, it was very, very sharp. And it was quite an unusual theme in the end as well, where I'm just running around with my king and trying not to get perpetual check. But I don't know. It's not the kind of chess that I usually play. And it was just a lot of fun to, face a very, very strong young player and try and checkmate him, basically.
You remember from last week, this is the guy who was in a winning position against you when he...
Yeah, for sure. And he beat me in Freestyle Friday later on in a very complicated game as well. So it was good to get a good win against him.
That might be the most interesting game I've ever played in Title Tuesday, to be honest. Probably not the best game, but that was...
I cannot hear it, but I remember what I said.
Yeah. You actually said that. Probably the most interesting game I played. What about it?
No, in Title Tuesdays, I said.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is, in Blitz games, like, you often want to stick a little bit to what you know, because it's hard when you have very little time to kind of create anything new. But yeah, this was just a calculation battle and honestly somewhat unusual themes as well. So it was just a lot of fun, very satisfying.
Glad to hear.
I understand it wasn't perfect. I missed a couple of things here and there, but that's hard to avoid.
Definitely. And very cool to hear that you're having fun playing Title Tuesday now. Second place today is young Christoph Duda, which is nice to see. He didn't play in the Grand Swiss. We know he's been struggling with motivation in over-the-board chess. But talking about Grand Swiss, it ends up with Geary qualifying for candidates and Bluebaum. Surprised to see those two in the top?
Yeah, for sure. I think Bluebaum had an incredible tournament. And to be fair, like, it is a bit easier when you come up, like, he got a few games and then he did really well against Arjun to win that. And after that, he could kind of cruise like a little bit, like the others are forced to beat him. So is in a good position. Well, Geary, I think, got, he got the friendliest pairings in the whole tournament for a long time. But then in the end, he took his chances while the others didn't. So it was very deserved.
Yeah. Let's assume Hikaru makes it with the rating spot, and let's assume Prague takes the FIDE circuit spot, which it definitely looks like he will. 3 spots are left for the candidates, all up for grabs in the World Cup. Who do you hope, or who do you think deserves to be in the candidates next year?
I don't really hope for anybody, but I generally hope to see the best players there. So probably... Yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of, like, probably a couple more of the young guys, but they're honestly, as long as Prague is in, there isn't a lot to choose between. I hope Alireza makes it, but I'm not even sure he's going to play the World Cup. And it has to be said that it's incredibly cruel to decide the candidate spots by tie breaks as they do. Especially, I don't know what the rules are, but also if the average oppositions include your own rating, then that's probably something they should fix. If they have fixed that, then it's a good thing that they fixed it. But I just don't think it's a good way to decide candidate spots. But whatever, I'm out of that game. I'm not making those rules. I'm a mere spectator at this point.
Yeah. For you, it's all about Title Tuesdays, which is extremely entertaining to follow. Hikaru Nakamura scores his first Champions Chess Tour points today. I think he ends up in 8th place. It's been surprising to see him, I would say, struggle so far in this new format. What have you thought of Hikaru so far?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Three tournaments in a row where he is not really much of a factor in the fight for the top places. Always surprising, but yeah, he'll be back. But it just shows that he's maybe not quite as consistent as he was a couple of years ago, which is not surprising.
Okay. Are you going to celebrate this Game Week 3 win with a Mario Kart maybe?
We'll see.
All right. Anything to add, David?
No, I just want to challenge Magnus at Mario Kart after this.
Exactly.
That's the main reason I'm still here.
In your group, who's like the best at the other video games?
It's not me. FIFA, I have a chance.
Yeah.
Or FC 25, I have a chance. But the others, we don't play so much, do we?
No, we did play a bit of FIFA over New Year's, and I feel like I was definitely ahead, but it was getting close.
Oh, I disagree.
I bet a lot of people are actually wondering.
But like we both play very, very rarely anything at all. So
when you guys hang out, because I know you guys hang out a lot, do you play a lot of chess, or is it about other things? Never.
Very rarely. Like, yeah. If there's nothing else going on, I think we talk about chess quite a lot. But like,
yeah, we talk about chess, but not necessarily about moves. It's often about things happening in the chess world. And so,
gossiping.
I mean, David is one of my two main sources of gossip. So.
Mine too.
Yeah, don't know what you mean.
No. All right, Magnus, huge congratulations again. Are you coming back next week to take 3 in a row?
I hope so, but it always depends.
Yeah. Thank you, Magnus. I'll let you get going for the Mario Kart. Thank you for joining us in the studio.
Thank you.
Congrats again. All right, so you're looking forward to the Mario Kart as well then, David?
Yeah, I mean, I missed last week. I mentioned it earlier, the FOMO of missing the chess, but also the Mario Kart afterwards, missing Bortnik, challenging Magnus. I'm trying to make up for that this week.
Yeah.
I've got to compensate.
I have to tell you guys, it is a lot of fun to work in Take. It is a startup, so it's a lot of hard work, obviously, like for many other people working. But we did have a really enjoyable Monday with the final round of Grand Swiss on one screen, and we had Mario Kart on the other with people playing, really enjoying ourselves here in the office. Magnus, of course, enjoying himself while streaming Title Tuesday. It's a win for him again, and second place goes to Jan Christoph Duda. I'm wondering how Johan Sebastian Christiansen did, who was also streaming from here. He did finish up with a loss, unfortunately. So we last week we had first and second place here in the studio. Today only the first place for Magnus Carlsen. This is the road to the Esports World Cup Champions Chess Tour standings. After 3 game weeks in Title Tuesday, Magnus Carlsen is in quite a clear lead. 23 points is what he scored so far. Sarana is in second place, and Duda now in third with 9 points, scoring 7 points today for his second place. And we do see Ali Reza Farusha, who wasn't able to play today. He didn't make it back in time from Grand Swiss, but he's in 7th place. And since Magnus Carlsen is already qualified for being the reigning Esports World Cup champion, it is 2nd through 7th place right now, qualified for next year's Esports World Cup. That's going to be, it's a long way to go, David. We're only in the autumn split number 1 in the Champions Chess Tour, but when we come into next year, that's going to be really intense. Yeah,
this is going to be a huge talking point and huge incentive as well for the players to compete week in, week out. Obviously, it's so early, and with stuff like the Grand Swiss going on, some players have to prioritize. But I think those names that we saw there, the top 7, firstly, it's good news for everyone that Magnus has already qualified, opening up that other spot. But also, the likes of Hikaru will eventually join, and I don't think we can argue with any of the names that have already performed so well so far. It's a group that seems to be breaking out and showing that they're the kind of the Title Tuesday top dogs.
Love it. Magnus had fun today. Did you have fun today, David?
I did. It's nice to be back, Kaya. I feel like I was on holiday for a week, so I'm still getting back into the swing of things, but this was a great kind of pathway to get back.
Fantastic to have you back, David. Title Tuesday, the Premier League of Chess, gives us action, time scrambles, time trouble, brilliant moves, blunders, everything that we love about chess, huge reactions. And eventually Magnus Carlsen won it again today for the 2nd time in a row. Only 1 week until we start again with Game Week 4. We hope you guys will join us again for more action, more fun. And enjoy your week. In the meantime, looking forward to Tuesday. Always. Bye for now.
Wow, Sulaidis blunders his rook for a knight. Hikaru now is up. Look at the reaction from Sulaidis. So angry. That was a blunder. He pre-moved. Look at this. Much better. Massively better against Hikaru.
And there it is. Wow. What do you think about that reaction, David? Look at that.
He's up and down. He's out of his chair. He's off to tell mum and dad. It's a hopeless case almost for Andrew Tang. He needs to get rid of the white rook. He needs to trick Magnus, catch him in the pre-move, and the game ends in checkmate. He's giving one last check, but now the white king slides. Checks have gone. Magnus Carlsen wins, about to deliver checkmate, and talking to himself there. He must be proud of himself, Magnus. That was such a complicated game.
Wow.
Here we go.